Unless it's like, oh, somebody clearly hung this lone wolf like last night, then I wouldn't hunt that.
Our bows are still in it.
yeah.
We just leave them in there.
Yeah.
They're like,
seems like fair game.
Yeah, should I use all this stuff?
A whole setup here.
There's a whole setup. This guy's awesome.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
Should be no surprise to anyone listening to this that back with Hoyt another season. I'm actually going to be shooting the AX2 aluminum this year.
You traitor.
But you're still going RX9.
Yeah, blacked
carbon,
out as always.
Blacked out. Yeah. Big surprise for
80
everyone.
pounds. Big surprise. Yeah.
But seriously, man, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Every year it seems like we get a new Hoyt bow in our hands, and they're always a step above the last and just a step above everybody else.
Yeah, they're so consistent, man. Just their processes get better, every year. And we've really been excited about, as we've grown with Hoyt, we've brought some others in with us. And we just feel like the Hoyt family is growing, like the community, and we're really excited about the people that are involved, excited to be a part of that company. And it's really awesome.
So for anyone that's excited about Hoyt, like Jared and I are, you can use the code HUNTR, HUNTR, on Hoyt.com.
Get serious, get Hoyt.
And we're back.
Ew.
HUNTR Podcast, episode 261, as Nick is in studio, keeping us in line. Look at this, coming from the South.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah, the South will rise again.
Yeah, feels good. Feels good to be back, guys.
Well, we appreciate Nick making the journey from South Carolina.
Yeah,
back
figured
up
I'd
here.
come home for a little staycation, pop in, say what's up.
Yep, come back to the old studio.
Yeah,
a lot of time spent in here.
Yeah,
a lot of blood, sweat, tears.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Happy to be back.
Yeah.
How long are you here for?
Till Sunday.
When'd you come in?
Saturday.
Yeah, right on.
So
full week, huh?
Full week.
Nice.
We were supposed to go to Gatlinburg with my girlfriend's family, but it kind of fell through, and we were just like, let's go home.
Is that like a Gettysburg type thing? It's like a
no,
like a historical a war site.
It's like a touristy redneck mountain.
Yeah,
around here?
No, Tennessee.
Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I don't know it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Why'd you say you were supposed to go? Like this week, you mean? But you decided to come here instead?
Yeah, so we had a vacation scheduled.
Oh, I see.
And then it kind of fell through.
I have heard of Gatlinburg. That's right.
Yeah. So
Leaves? Am I thinking like the fall attraction type? That's what that is? No. Or that's not like Ozark stuff, right? What am I thinking of down there?
Ozarks?
No. Where do people go?
Yeah, Gatlinburg.
That's Gatlinburg?
Yeah, in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, okay.
I got married in Gatlinburg.
You did?
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had a small wedding on a farm down there.
That's awesome.
That's not where Weston got married, right?
No, that was in Kentucky.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
what happened with that? Why didn't you go to Gatlinburg?
I actually don't really know the reason. It just kind of fell through.
Just whatever she said. You're like, all right.
Just didn't happen.
She's like, we're not going. We're like, okay.
Yeah, we'll just go home.
Sounds good.
But yeah, it's been nice hanging out with friends and family. Haven't seen in a while, so.
Cool. Well, for the record, I know she doesn't watch this, right?
Definitely not.
Cool. you guys talking rings yet or anything like that? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Got a ring yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
But talking about it.
Talking about it.
Cool.
It's in the plan. I got to have the conversation with her father.
Oh, yeah.
I have to get his blessing, of course.
What's he like?
He's awesome.
Okay.
He's like the nicest guy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he...
Thinking Zales or like Blood Diamond?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But no, her family's great.
Yeah. You think that conversation, you got a pretty good idea how it will go?
I think it'll go smooth.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hoping for a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping for support. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're pulling for you.
We're pulling for you.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah.
Buy some merch.
Yeah. We approve.
Buy merch. Pay for Nick's ring he's working on.
The more merch you buy, the bigger the diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's exciting.
Don't ask us to come.
Don't ask us to come to a wedding in November.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
Don't worry.
That ain't happening.
My sister's having a kid on November 8th. I was like, great.
Really?
I'll see him in December. Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
After the new year.
Yeah. My wife's like, are you serious? I'm like,
dead serious.
Yeah.
That puts your dad in a bit of a bind, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I would assume so, because he's not.
Is he expected to be there for the birth?
Absolutely.
For the birth?
I think your dad will be there for sure.
He might.
Expected or not, he'll be there.
Oh, I mean, dude, my dad misses stuff during deer season all the time. I'm pretty sure he's gone on an elk hunt at the end of October.
I feel like he's been talking about grandkids for quite a bit.
Yeah, but what significance is the birth? Like,
to be
for
there.
us to be there. I mean, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I think you'd want, I guess, yeah. And then in the days following, I suppose you'd want to like
I bet.
hold him up over the rock type of thing.
I bet Mom will pull him there too.
Probably. He won't fight it either.
No, but we're leaving for Kansas.
Nobody's
like,
pulling
a week
me.
later.
I don't sense anybody's pulling me to that. Like when I said, hey, I won't be there on November 8th, nobody seemed to care.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
They're like, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big one. I don't think like my sister didn't come when my kids were born or vice versa. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
as big of a deal.
I start giving my nieces and nephews attention when they're about 4 years old.
Yeah. There you go.
Because until then, it's just like, hey, just keep this thing alive until it can communicate with me.
Just eat some poop.
Eat some shits. That's
cries
exactly
and
what it
drools.
is.
Dude, drool. I'm not gonna lie to you. Baby drool is one of the big reasons.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty serious the term for me, dude. Drool is like I can't do it.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people,
Is that shallow?
It's the like milk phobias. Yeah, because I mean that baby's throwing up like milk all the time.
Milk phobia.
Yeah. So like if you have a milk phobia of like you don't like milk spills or like you can't have it in a car very long and stuff. There's a lot of people that
People have a milk phobia.
Oh yeah.
Of any milk.
Just like
baby milk.
No, just like you can't have. Like if you're driving home in the grocery store, like you're like, man, I can't have this milk like sitting out that long.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna go bad and I'm gonna get sick or whatever.
Okay.
That's a really big thing in America.
The people are afraid their milk's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you can't have like obviously like regurgitating milk and stuff is like sets off the bar. Same with like the same people that like can't eat cottage cheese. They're like freaked out about it.
Oh.
I love cottage cheese.
Me too. I eat that every night.
Yeah,
Hurts
there's
my
a lot of
stomach,
people that like cannot fathom.
Did you get that from me, Nick, or have you always been doing that?
What,
The cottage cheese thing?
Actually, my girlfriend put me on cottage
Did
cheese.
Interesting.
Did you make her own or what?
Nah,
No, I'm
just Aldi.
We all these good. You get fat free or 2
Usually.
or 4% fat free.
Usually fat free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a nice like dessert. It's really high in complex protein too. That's why it's a
Yeah.
good like end of night. I had a bodybuilder that I like trained with when I was a teenager. He was like that was one of his tricks.
Interesting.
I mix it with fruit and yogurt. So I'll put I'll put blueberries, bananas,
and Greek yogurt.
yeah, like a full cup probably of cottage cheese and a half or third cup of vanilla flavored.
I feel like I ate
cheese.
a lot of cottage cheese
Money.
growing up as a kid, and I
Yeah.
just don't go back to it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like
Once you get off it, you probably don't.
a
go
lot
back.
of it as a kid.
Yeah.
I was just like, ugh.
I
even
didn't
try
realize
it
so
till
many
last
people
year.
were afraid of milk though. Of
Oh, the
their milk
thing
going bad.
is it, yeah. Or like
Have you heard of that, Nick?
it's the same with like
Yeah.
the vomit reflexes. Like people that like gag and stuff, and then they hear other people gagging, and they're done.
Yeah.
They just start dry heaving like uncontrollably.
I'll say this: I don't really drink milk. Not because
Really?
I'm afraid of it going bad. I just don't really like see the benefit. I'm not. We drank. We
Wow.
always had a gallon. In like growing up, we drank a lot of milk. I feel like,
Wow.
and at some point, we just stopped drinking milk.
I would have expected you to be like a gallon of whole milk like a day guy.
Even as I'm saying it here, I'm wondering if
Yeah.
if I should get back to that. I don't know. We don't eat cereal anymore too. That was a big
The
like
vitamin D aspect of things.
vitamin D.
Because the protein in it, like everybody says, oh, milk's great. It's not. It's like whatever, 6 grams of protein or 8 grams of protein for a cup of milk. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
much.
Well, I don't know if it's real milk or not, but I have really been enjoying the taste of that Fairlife chocolate milk.
Ooh, Fairlife has been good.
It's fantastic.
That whatever that pro protein or whatever I've been getting is banging.
I looked for that at the grocery store. I
it's
couldn't.
tough to find.
Couldn't find
Target
it.
has it.
Yeah,
A
even
lot.
the regular stuff. It says whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
It says on the front. It says 50% more protein. I assume than regular milk.
Yeah, dude,
so.
those little ones have, but the pro one has Core Pro, I think is what it is, or Core Protein is 42 grams in one of those things.
Wow,
That's
It's a
crazy.
banger. And they taste really good.
Yeah.
nice.
They have a strawberry, which is like, remember the old like strawberry milks you used to get in school?
Mm-hmm.
Tastes just like it.
Nice.
It's crazy.
I still
I used to be a strawberry milk guy.
consume
Mhm.
dairy, I'm not afraid of it. I like it. I do the Greek yogurt. I do regular milk. But I will say I do dabble with like oat and almond milk these days.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like almond milk.
Yeah. I
We
don't know
we do
why.
too. At our shop, we have a oat milk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like the older
really
I
good.
get, the more sensitive my stomach is to
Mhm.
dairy.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I get a little bit of lactose intolerance on my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not have. I honestly can't. I don't really know.
Yeah.
So, but I
Depends
don't.
on the
I don't
day.
stray from straight up ice cream. It's hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't mess it. But from like if I do a protein shake and I mix some of that Fairlife stuff in, I'll cut it with like almond milk or something just to like give me more volume.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Breakfast.
More volume.
Good stuff.
More volume, less calories, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of gross things about babies. I think this is how we got on. That's how we got on
Yeah.
that. Kind of, like they're great, but man, they're just dirty and sticky and like I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because I was one once.
Yeah, we're.
You know, but
Yeah. You become numb to
I have
it.
I have so many like nieces and nephews too. Yeah, I almost feel like
but
freaking,
that's just different. Like
I feel like those people from freaking Christmas Vacation where I'm like, our lives are so clean, you know what I mean, and like and organized and stuff. I'm like,
oh yeah, dude, it's utter. It's still chaos. Like my kids are 9 and 13.
I don't
and
know,
I'm
Marco.
I'm like, I got there's just always chaos.
And yours are kind of past that, like sticky, grody.
They are, but it's just other chaos now. It's like sports and this, and they gotta take them to the doctors, do this, do that.
Yeah,
orthodontist, and it's like Jesus.
Yeah.
Never stops.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have to clean up
And
their shit anymore.
Margie works too.
Clean up their own shit.
How
Margie-
old's your oldest?
Yeah.
13.
13.
Yeah.
Puberty's about to happen.
Dude, Emily. So Carter's always been like small,
Yeah.
and I was like, I guess we were talking. I was like, I think that kid's growing, like, which he should, right?
Yeah.
Like he's 13. In the last year, he's grown over 3 inches.
Wow.
They did like they have a little measure thing on it, and he like to the day, like over 3 inches in a year. I'm
That's
like, holy
awesome.
shit, pretty good.
I can
Nice.
use that.
Yeah.
How tall are you now?
I'm only 5'7".
Yeah, and you're done growing, right?
yeah.
Unfortunately.
How
dude.
old are you? 26?
27.
27. Yeah, you're done
Yeah.
by then.
Yeah, the nicotine
Right?
suppressed that.
When do you when do you kind of stop growing?
Dude, I quit growing
Oh,
when I was a senior in high school.
I was gonna say, yeah, probably 17, 18.
Interesting. Senior in high school. I can't remember honestly, height wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 17, 18.
I do recall, like for whatever reason, like I mean, I'm not old. I'm 32 now, but I just can't seem to put on the weight like I did when I was a senior in high school.
Mhm.
And granted, I was really, putting a lot of effort into it, but I got up to 210, maybe 215.
Yeah.
I'm like, boy, I just really, really struggle to break 200 pounds right now. Like that, it just there's a sweet spot, and I just really can't get over it.
I would enjoy that as long as you can, because I'm on the other side. I can't drop it. Dude, I'm running 50 miles a week, and I can't break 200.
Interesting. You can't get below it.
Dang.
Well, see, I don't know if I could either. I'm not actively trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I could though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah, if
sure
you
I
can't
could.
gain it, you could lose it.
My body, yeah, just for now, anyways, naturally wants to get skinny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would suck it up as much as you can, because eventually that shit stops.
Yeah, but you see a little bit. It's funny how you can have both. Like you can be skinny, but also have like the fat mentalities. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You can get the love handles and the gut,
Oh, yeah.
and still, but be like losing muscle mass in the
yeah.
meantime.
Yeah,
So
it's just all.
you don't want that.
Looks like you're pregnant.
Also on the precious side, we got a little bit of man boob going on.
Mm.
So I need to.
Some
I'm
moves.
actively going to be fighting that into my 50s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to fight
pop
that.
it. Yeah.
You definitely want to fight that. No, I mean, take it for when you can. I mean,
It's interesting to see everybody on whether it's all.
what do you
those
think you would
Ozempic
lose
across the
muscle
board.
mass? Like, because I mean, you could still like. I looked at
Oh, definitely.
what's Cam's kid, Truitt,
Uh-huh.
and so he's like training for marathons and stuff. And Truitt's like, he's jacked. Like that dude's big. He weighs 162 pounds.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I think they're just small people.
But he's
I think he
he's
and
still
Cam.
jacked though.
Well, yeah,
But
it's all proportional. So like he probably just has a small frame.
yeah. But even if he's 5'7" or 5'8", like
Mm-hmm.
he's still big.
No, he's not because he only weighs 162 pounds. So, but he's jacked. But that doesn't mean he's big. Like you know what I mean. So you can be small and jacked.
Interesting.
You got like Ronnie Coleman on one end. Right?
Yeah,
And then
giant.
you got I don't know whoever Truitt on the
Yeah.
He's not that
Yeah.
level of jack. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, because I thought that was interesting. Because I know when Cam was training for that Cocodona race that Emily did, he dropped to 157 or something, or that was his goal. And I was like, dude, if I could get to like 180, I'd be like fucking Prefontaine out there.
Yeah.
it's wild to imagine. Like I don't know what 160 would feel like. I'd be like a feather. I think I would just like fly away.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's what I weigh, like 150, 155.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. But I feel though, Nick, like we live on like different spectrums of the world. Like I live my life at 200 pounds. You know?
Yeah.
No offense. No offense. It just is what it is.
Well,
you're
someday
on a different plane
if
there.
Nick lives his life at 200 pounds, we're gonna have concerns.
Dude, I will be a bowling ball.
It's a good thing though. Like you want to be able. You want to feel like you can push some people around if you had to. You know what I mean? That's where 200 comes in handy.
Yeah.
I don't feel big though. I don't feel like.
You look normal.
Yeah, I feel like it's like you got a frame, and then you got a frame, and you just
Well, it's like when Bomar's like whatever. He's
What's
like,
Bomar?
He's
220,
250 is what he's going.
No, he's not 250.
He's like, I think he's in the 240s now.
That's crazy.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's like 230.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's going for 250
Yeah.
or
The freaking traps on that guy are out of control. He's got a lot of leg muscle too there.
Dude's a monster. Well, he's also 6'3" too.
Yeah.
Like that's a big dude.
Yeah, he's tall. That's what I mean. So he's a big dude. He's a big frame dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with Poole. Whatever. Greg Poole's like 6'8". Like he stood up at the table. I'm like,
he's a monster. Yeah.
Damn.
Josh was like, your biceps are bigger than mine, and it's pissing me off. And he might be right. You know?
That's
If we
funny.
went arm to arm on it,
yeah.
So
He's just sitting like curling every night.
I
Sarah's like,
tra-
are you gonna come to bed? He's like, not yet.
trade him for some traps here.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You saw I sent you those. He's got some slammers on that farm that I
That
killed
one's
mine
a
on
giant.
last year.
That deer's all over 80s.
Those aren't even the two that I guess he passed on last year. A couple other younger deer.
That's crazy because that's only at 160, right? 160
Yeah.
per farm.
Yeah.
Freaking Iowa.
Yeah, it's a good farm.
That's Iowa for you.
Yeah. So, hey, wherever you guys are listening to us from, appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast. Those are the platforms that we drop this episode. These episodes, rather, on every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Once we get into the meat of season here, sometime around September 1st, we're going to start dropping 2 a week. You can give us a like, follow, subscribe on any of those channels, and it will notify you as to when these drop. If you've written us on Instagram, DM, or the website, those are the two that we check the most frequently. And appreciate you guys reaching out. I know there's a couple backlog there. We'll continue to work back through those as best as we can.
Getting there.
We have some merch on the website. New website and new merch coming within the next couple of weeks.
I saw first original layouts and stuff, so we're getting there. We're getting close on
Cool.
the website.
Just
probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just a little facelift on that stuff. And we do have some cool new merch coming for you guys too. So we'll add that to the legacy stuff. Again, Nick needs an engagement ring. So the more you buy, the better chance he has at getting a yes.
Yeah. Don't piss off the girl.
And other than that, here we go.
Yes. Here we go. Just us, as you might have guessed, for the first 30-minute opener.
Yeah, it was nice catching up.
Good catch up.
Yeah.
Good catch up that we had Nick back in. So.
Yeah, dude, Nick, we did that Farm Companion that we did last week. It was like Jeremy and I had been together it was funny because it was a different dynamic. Like we don't normally get 4 days together full time leading up to like any kind of a recording or whatever, but it was a long trip. And it was like 7 hours of travel that day back to here. And then at the very tail end, we're just crank out a Farm Companion real quick.
Just rip one out.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. We'll do a Farm Companion today. Next week we'll have it with us in Illinois. So we'll do one from Casa de Paul next week. But yeah, that's
how was the trip?
It was good. Tuesday went and toured Hoyt facility. Awesome to see how everything was made. Spent the day with Evan and Jeremy and those guys. So that was really cool just to see everything that they've got going on and continuing to just modify and improve efficiencies and understand just even the process. What did he say? Like, obviously there's batches, but it was like 50 bows a day. Is that what he was saying?
I think so.
Which is kind of like when you think about it, like there's that much attention and hands-on. Like 50 is not that much when you look at how big the facility is.
Sure.
It's just the process and attention to putting out, a high quality compound bow.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool to kind of put in perspective. So,
50 is a lot of both. When you consider all the components that go on it.
It is, but it's also doesn't seem like a lot when you look at how big that facility is.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty, what was the word? They call it, not on demand is not the word, but essentially like it's a light, what do they call that? Light manufacturing, light, so they're not like storing.
Oh yeah. They don't have it like any inventory.
Oh, okay.
It's basically nothing's on
out.
hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's like, if an
Or
order
very-
is
very
placed,
little
yeah,
anyways.
if an order is placed, they're making and producing the order.
Okay.
If just so happens the order is 48 and they made 50, then 2 will hit the shelf.
Okay.
But those 2 don't stay on the shelf long. Like they're gone pretty quick. So
That's
they
cool.
they never really are holding inventory very long.
Nice.
So, and that's, that's a cool process to like see how that all works out from the manufacturing to the shipping and the international stuff that they're working on. So, so that was cool. And then it was funny because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, every morning, Jared and I were on a plane.
Damn.
Every morning. And it was like
Love travel.
just carrying our bow cases, dragging our bows through airports.
Yeah.
And so then Wednesday morning, got up early, flew to Bozeman, and met Dustin and the Mountain Tough guys. And boy, they beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
That was an intense workout. Those CrossFit guys are something else.
Yeah.
Like they
I
go
wouldn't
at
be
it
able to
hard.
walk.
I shouldn't even say girls because Sarah and was it Tara?
Dara.
Sarah and
With a
Tara
D.
were like beasts.
Yeah.
She was like 15 weeks pregnant too.
Oh my god.
She was like, "You need more weight."
I went to go grab a drink of water and Sarah looked at me and I'm like,
She's like,
Put it down.
no water,
drink your sweat.
no drinks. You'll die before you drink anything. Yeah.
But it was cool too, man. Like they just a really cool support system because like there was like nobody really there when we got there.
Yeah.
And like Jared and I go into the dressing room, we get ready, we come out, and like there's just all these people. I'm like, where the hell did all these people come from? And they're like, every noon they have like a friends and family time frame where it's like, hey, we're gonna do this workout, come on over.
Nice.
So that was cool. Yeah, and Dustin, I think we had Dustin on the podcast, but we got to go out to dinner with him and his daughter. And just really cool guy to get to know and good family dude and good head on his shoulder just from like a business standpoint and everything. Did a podcast with those guys, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so stayed over in Bozeman, then got up and flew back to Salt Lake to shoot TAC, which, man, that's beautiful country, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like just
Utah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, like coming out of Salt Lake, it's like 80 some degrees. We went to Cracker Barrel, of course.
Best Cracker Barrel meal I've ever had.
It was really good, wasn't it?
It was the tits. It was like a hash, some kind of farmhouse hash or something like that. Yeah, it was mine.
We were on point. Then so you leave Salt Lake and then we just start going through like this crack in the mountains, like up to Solitude to the ski resorts.
Yeah.
And like
have you been out to Salt Lake or anywhere like that?
No, dude. I've never been really out west that much.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it feels like a basin. Like all the city and everything is down like in the, not even the foothills. It's just like kind of at
like a
ground level
yeah.
or whatever. And then all around it, you see like the mountains kind of go up from there. So you can go to these different entry points and drive up the valleys essentially up to the top.
it was like 80 some when we were leaving in the morning. By the time we were getting to the top, it was like 60 something, right?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went from
Way
like
cooler
whatever
up
4,000 feet of elevation to almost 9.
Like you can see snow like on the cap.
Yeah.
It can be like 80 to 90 degrees down where
Really?
you're at, and you can see snow up on the caps.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's pretty wild.
So it was awesome. So yeah, got to go and hang out, talk to the Hoyt guys. We saw Jake from HHA. We saw Chris B. Talked to Chris for a while.
Yep.
Talked to Carlos and those guys at Bushnell. Like,
Josh and those guys.
yeah, Josh and those guys. Yeah, so it was just an awesome time shooting.
Those tax have really become a thing. Like I think a lot of people are shaping their summer schedules around like it's a kind of a circuit.
Yep. And so there was a bunch of us that shot like as a Hoyt group basically, and
Cool.
I think we had a blast. Like it was a fun group to hang out with, and
Yeah.
Zach, the president of Hoyt, was there, and
Alan Bolin.
Alan
was a cool
Bolin,
connection
yeah.
made there.
Yeah, Alan was cool. Him and his son Jake were awesome guys. And so yeah, with just fun, good networking, and went to dinner with Carlos from Bushnell and Jason from Primos, and then we're sitting there at dinner down at the base of the mountain, and like look over and there's Bomar and Hauser and those guys at the table, and we're like, what the hell?
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, and then flew home and knocked out a farm companion here. So
Yeah.
Honestly, have had some
Busy
long
week.
days since then.
dude, it was a
Freaking-
whirlwind, man.
Dude, it's been like, I don't know how it gets to this point where it's like, you literally couldn't put anything more into the schedule if you wanted. Like you find a way, but it's like you're always like constantly prioritizing and triaging things, and it's like that becomes the art or the challenge. It's like what's most important. How do I get this? How do I delegate everything beneath that? You know what I mean? And it's just. It's happening, but and it feels good when things work out over time. It's like you look back and say, oh, for instance, like cleaning machines down at the shop. There's like two years ago, it's like it was me. It was only me. Now I have two employees, that over the course of 2 years I'm trying to be able to offset some of that stuff. And I, for some reason, don't feel any less busy, but I do feel like the things that I'm able to spend my time on are slightly more either important or what I want to be doing, but
yeah, I do feel like I'm imminent on some things slipping out of the timeline, which,
oh dude, if you can figure out your deer grow thing, then
that's working. We're getting there. I need to spray in Pennsylvania and get ready to put brassicas in. I need to put brassicas in Ohio. I already sprayed, and I need to spray and put stuff in Kentucky. Though, did you see that picture I posted on our story yesterday? Mm-hmm. My beans and corn are like
look awesome,
baller right now.
Yeah. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deer Grow.
Man, we've been using Deer Grow products for a long time. The Plot Start and Plot Boost, more recently Plot Till. Now we've got 3 new liquid fertilizers that have been put in the mix that will cover everything we could want for a food plot program.
It's huge, man. The more food plotting we do, it's like, man, the liquids just make sense. Like whether it's herbicides or the Plot Start and Plot Boost, and now the fertilizers get mixed in. It's like, man, I can combine all of those in certain cases and do less passes for more results.
I mean, it's all about efficiency. I mean, like you said, less passes. If you're out there treating your beans with glyphosate in the summertime, you can mix in this fertilizer, do that all at once. You have the boost in there that helps the metabolism. It's all about efficiency when we're talking about food plots. And really the big difference on these liquid fertilizers is you're bypassing some of these soil limitations, pH limitations, the soil type. In a lot of cases, we talk about dry fertilizers only being available for 17% of what you put down in the first year. These liquid fertilizers straight into the plant are 90% available in the first year. Huge difference in what you're going to see in growth.
It's huge. And so right now you can use code HUNTR15 for 15% off any of the Deer Grow products on their website. And as always,
better food plots, bigger deer.
Dude, I was trying to figure out how much time I've spent on the farm this year, and just for fun, just to put a number on. I'm like, dude, it's entirely feasible that since the beginning of this year, I've spent at least 6, very conservatively, to 10 full days on the tractor, 10, 12-hour days, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but that's more than some people get on vacation. That doesn't include what we're getting to actually hunting and stuff like that. That's just solely managing switchgrass, getting our grain fields in. I just did one the other day, and it was a long day.
Well, and it paints the picture of the remote properties and how hard they are to manage. I mean, we've spent a third of that in Illinois, right? 3 days maybe on track. And it's just because it's 9.5 hours away. So it's you have this much time you're not going to accomplish the same goals necessarily, but you're trying to accomplish as close as possible to it with we're about to head out there for a 2.5 day binge.
Yeah.
And it's look at what we have on our plate. And it's we'll get most of it done, if not all of it, but it'll be wire to wire.
Yeah. Well, and just some things will lack inevitably. You just won't be able to think things needed mowed a month ago. You know, so there's, so things like that. But the Midwest also, it requires less management in some ways. Well, or at least that farm specifically, it doesn't require the level of input. There's not nearly as much acreage for one thing.
Yeah, that's a big part.
So when I go to Ohio, I'm spread pretty thin. Just try to
it's 1,000 acres,
get everything covered. Yeah.
Well, and I think the other thing too, and it depends. My Ohio place, I might spend 3 days before hunting season, 3 days for the year, doing things on the property, not including just looking for sheds or trail cameras, management days. And I think it benefits. I get what I need to get done, but I just stay out of there. Those deer, I get daylight activity all the time because I'm just not there.
See, I have switched to where I used to be really hard on my dad about driving the road, even the road, being on the property at all, in the summer, to where now I'm the more you can drive those roads during the day and reasonable hours and stuff, probably the better. They just
from getting used to it.
They get so accustomed. Dude, when I was out spraying that switchgrass the other day, there's literally bucks they obviously can see you and hear you. It's prime time. It's 7:30, 8:30 at night. They'll just come walk down out of the timber and walk 50 yards up to the tractor and just just look at you, and then as long as you turn and keep doing what you're doing, like they could care less.
Yeah, their guard is way down.
They could care less.
You're at the point of like it's as low as it's going to be, over the next 2 to 3 weeks before they really start to calcify antlers and testosterone starts to kick up a notch. But yeah, they're just low guard. That's why I was saying, like, even in Ohio, we've got all this ground that's got chipped around us that's like 1 to 3 foot tall, just, forbs and weeds and other stuff. And like, I'm sure there's just bucks laying out in the middle of these 40-acre chipped areas just because there's no pressure.
How'd you find out about that outfitter?
I was texting him.
Grabbing that piece. Do you know who he bought it for?
Yeah. I heard it was expensive. If that's the rumor mill.
Interesting.
Like $4 an acre, which is crazy.
Is it?
I think so. I could probably look it up unless he did like a land contract.
Still taxes on it.
I offered $750 an acre, so
yeah,
a little low.
Yeah.
Little low.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I'll bet in a couple of years that.
Well, that's what we were talking about. He's like, yeah, the next 2 or 3, it's not, but we'll get it there to where it's huntable. And it's just going to be a couple food plots and a box blinds because it'll be just a brush sanctuary. Yeah,
that's pretty funny. We're gonna get I believe he's the lead, but he is for sure a biologist. I don't know if they have more than one or what. But Jace is his name, the guy from Iowa. He's the state deer biologist. And we were just going back and forth yesterday, and it was Skip that made the introduction, and he was like, here's 2 rules. Like, you guys can talk about blah, 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 whatever. And you can never leave Iowa. He's like, that's the thing. And I was like, that's the thing Skip doesn't know is like, I'm going to do I'm going to convince you to come out here to Ohio. And he goes, he's like, well, how much acreage comes with that? He's like, what's the selling point there? I'm like, you get 5 in a corn pile.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
That's
all you need.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, I think just kind of going back on the farm side, it's like, yeah, there's a ton of time that gets put into there. And I mean, ultimately you can only get done what you can get done. Like, there's no use of, there's been plenty of years where I've been frustrated over, I didn't get this in, or I didn't get to do this. And it's just like, I try to check the bases, which is food for sure. And the more clover and stuff that you put in, the more that you can manage that on a yearly basis, a lot easier than planting every year. Obviously, efficiency with drills has been a huge one. Spray it, drill it. That cuts a giant amount of time out.
Well, it used to feel like in season, out of season. Like, what can I get done before a season, and then what do you do during a season?
Yep.
And anymore, honestly, it feels way more like a freaking like a circuit race. It's like during this leg, here's the things that you know what I mean? Because it's not as simple as like on season and off season projects. It's like, okay, in the months of between January and March, what are the things that you're able to do?
Yeah.
From a seasonality standpoint, what I mean? So you're focused on TSI, blah, whatever.
Yep.
From March to, April or May, what are the things that you're tackling? So each few months, it kind of like resets.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Then it's just weird. Like, I think after the, after you get through the spring, which is whatever, treating clover, simazine and stuff on switch, spraying and planting your beans and corn or whatever, there's like a weird pause there where it's like, okay, everything's in, I feel great. And then like 30 days later, it's like, now you got to spray for your fall plots. You got to get your fall plots in. You got to set cameras. You got to get tree stands in. So yeah, there's like just small downtimes in between where you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Right.
And then, but before you know it, you're back into one of those circuits, like you would say.
Yeah, exactly. And it is still early. Like we're still, if we're pushing August 1st here, you still have August, September, 2 full months, I guess, until season really starts. I mean, so we are getting there for sure. I mean,
that's what's getting me is like I've effectively got 30 to 35 days before I'm killing velvet in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Which is like expediting.
Is that September 1st?
September 6th this year.
Okay.
Yep, 6th or 7th.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm expediting that side of like fall plots. I don't worry about too much in that super early time frame. I've got clover and alfalfa, and I've got beans like that, and I've got water. Like those are, I'm gonna kill one, and I could put a corn pile out if I wanted to. Like that's how I'll kill it. But I want to get some stands hung, and I need to get some cameras moved, and I kind of want to have everything ready in September, so I'm not out there actively mowing during September or planting or doing anything like that. I just want it done. So I feel pretty good about Kentucky, minus just like, what am I hunting? I don't know yet. Like that's the kind of ringer right now.
Yeah. I mean, other than the, I would call them like, bucks that have been on the, hit list, so to speak, previously. There's a constant teetering, like on our place, of like, are they shooters or are they not? And I honestly, like, I don't know. I've like gotten less into like trying to make a decision on that until it's like time to make a decision on it. Because most of them are like 4-year-olds. You know what I mean? I think 5-year-olds for the most part were like, hey, no brainer. Like that's the age we want to get them to. But I just think with where we're at with that property, and we can get into some of those circumstances around it today if you want. But
yeah, we should.
That's like the teetering point where we're like, do we want to shoot them? And is it on a case by case basis, or like is there a standard that we try to maintain, or I mean, because dude, that deer I sent you this morning is a freaking tank.
Yeah, it's a giant.
You know what I mean? But like a just
4-year-old
from a body size and from an antler size. But yeah, he's a 4-year-old. So I'm like, I don't know. So then you start getting into the nuances of like, well, do we make an exception for this deer because he's high scoring, or because he seems to be in an area? I mean, I think in a perfect world, yeah, you would make decisions on a case by case basis, to the best of your ability. But it can be challenging to do that.
Yeah, and when you say case by case, you mean like
deer by deer,
just deer by deer,
and year by year.
Yeah, and I mean that's
hunt by hunt. I don't know.
That's the hardest part about it. And I mean, obviously different dynamics, but like that, the buck that I've got in Kentucky right now that I know is 6.5, didn't do shit this year. In fact, I think he went downhill. And it's like, we're going to kill that deer. Whether I choose to kill him or I put a kid on him or Emily kills him or whatever, like I'll figure it out. But, I'm not, I would have killed him last year, so I'm not going to put it out of the mind of like, maybe what would he do at 7? Like in no world am I in the pass him till 7 range.
Well, again, case by case, like, so Flyer showed up yesterday, 5-year-old deer this year, by property standard, shooter.
Yep.
But he
didn't do much.
And generally, I would say, okay, he is what he is. But
because he's 5. Yep.
Not that he couldn't do, get something else at 6 or 8, without other extenuating circumstances, but he got shot last year. That's the main thing. And I'm like, well, so in my mind, I'm like, is he down this year because he had an injury?
Yeah, had to recover.
But he looks healthy. He looks okay. So I'm like,
it doesn't look funky. Like it wasn't like you can see dramatically one side of his antler was
cleaned up, if anything.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And so, he's a case where I'm like, I've seen potential in that deer. He's not expressing it right now for whatever reason, but I'm like,
yeah,
okay, if you had other 5 and 6-year-old deer to target, what I mean? Is he one that you consider passing?
Yeah.
At 5?
Yeah.
Mainly because of the injury. I mean, that's the only reason that's kind of on the table.
Mean, let's dive in, because I think it's more complex than that, because your situation on your farm has changed dramatically here in the last 2 weeks. Long time coming, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But in the last 2 weeks, defined in that, essentially your uncle sold the farm to the Amish.
His farm.
Yes. And so that was how many acres?
I want to say it was in ballpark of like 2,500.
And last year you had access to most of that ground, or last couple years.
We did. Yeah. And it's honestly not been that long.
2 years?
It's been maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
That we've had access to it. It's funny because like some of that is the farm that I grew up hunting, like as far as in Ohio. But it's never like we had, we never until these past 2 years really had like full reign of these. And even then, it's like it really never was as good as it could seem.
Sure.
No doubt. It was access, and it was like we were grateful for it.
Well, and you displaced a lot of leasers prior to when you got on there, right?
Yeah. Well, and dude, I'm trying to even recall like,
because it's been hunted by leasers for a long time, right?
I think we only ever killed one deer off of Sam's stuff.
Wow.
I think it was that 168 point that Dad killed.
Yeah, two or 3 years ago.
Yep. Yeah. And so just the history of that real quick was like my grandpa back in the day developed this a big farm. I'm told, and I don't know, maybe I could piece it all together. I'm told it was like in the ballpark of 5,000 acres at one point. A big farm. And he, he was really involved in, several businesses throughout his life, banking initially, a tile company, like a lot of the wood grain tiles that you see in like chain restaurants and stuff came out of this plant that my grandpa started. He sold that to some family members and then got into cattle, Black Angus specifically. And even more specifically into like breeding programs. He was one of the founding members of the Certified Angus Beef Association. And so there was this big farm in Ohio that they raised a lot of those cattle on, did that kind of that whole operation. And he had some others. There was one in Iowa, and there is still one in Nebraska, and I think there was one in I don't know. Yeah, there's some other thing out there. So when he died, the estate essentially got split up between all of his children. My mom being one of them had an opportunity to
3 kids
to buy some of that. 4. Yeah, I got my Uncle Jeff, Uncle Sam, Aunt Jeff. Cindy, and my mom.
Yep.
And so I think Jeff bought a lot of that stuff that was in Nebraska. Loop River Ranch is what's out there. Got my cousin Ethan.
Ethan.
Is running out there, and my parents bought 1,000 in Ohio from them, and I think my uncle got the 2,500, and he continued to run a Uncle Sam.
Yeah, and Cindy sold out. Right?
Cindy, didn't take any property. Yep. She moved to Florida for a while, and just doing her thing. She's moved back now, more recently on a different piece. Bought a different house and stuff. But so that's how they kind of all fell there. And so growing up, all of the farm was leased through base camp leasing. So that includes what my parents own now and what Sam had owned up until just recently, and any remaining acreage. The only stuff that wasn't leased was just things that weren't worth leasing, frankly. You know what I mean? Like little pockets here and there. And so we grew up essentially like most of the farm was like off limits. It was just like, hey, the stuff across from grandma's, we could go there, or we could pop in here, and it just was what it was. Like I didn't really have input on that situation, or I'm sure it was Sam that coordinated that. It was good income.
I was going to say it had to be substantial. I mean, even at whatever, $10 an acre, you're talking about 25, 30.
And I think it was more than that. I want to say like at least in the past 5-10 years, it's been in the ballpark of like 20, 25 an acre.
Wow. So you're talking about 50 to 75 grand coming in.
Yeah, enough to cover taxes and and then some.
Because Sam doesn't care about hunting.
No, not a hunter.
Yeah.
He had a son, Hayden, my cousin, that was born with a brain tumor, and they didn't expect him to live past 6 months. It was like terminal immediately. And he ended up I think he lived till he was like 20. 21, 22, and he just passed away within the past, 2 years, I want to say, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago. And so that was Sam's son, and the reason I bring that up is Hayden was interested in hunting, right? And so the only interest that Sam ever had was because Hayden,
Hayden liked it.
He went on a few of those like Make-A-Wish hunts and dream hunts and stuff. I met probably your Foxworthies and stuff like that. So he was kind of like infatuated with that world, So that was the only interest that they ever had there. So, so that was the case. I mean, it was leased clear up until I'm like you said,
it's 2 or 3 years ago.
3 years ago, and that was because there was like a solar project. It was interesting. It was a big, because there's a big chunk of land there, and these solar projects, if you're familiar with them at all, like there's a lot of turmoil between residents in an area and those projects because they're visually unpleasant to look at and all these things. And so
affect neighboring property values usually.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that, and even prior to that, there was like this whole oil and gas thing. So like there's been like all just activity on these farms, like, over the years, so the oil and gas thing was good. And that was a net positive for most people. Like, there was well pad traffic and we have some well pads on the properties.
Yeah, but without those pads, their property doesn't get tapped. They don't make money.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, I don't recall, there wasn't like a whole lot of pushback on like when that was happening.
But the solar,
and it wasn't just us either. I think that the solar stuff was primarily like there were some other landowners, but Sam was one of the primary applicants, like the properties they were considering. And so there's a dynamic too of like, I mean, dude, a lot of people in that area worked for my grandpa at one point in time, and he was a really honorable guy. And I've never heard anybody like, there's only ever been good things said about him. You know what I mean? He was a good guy. He was just honest. He treated people right. And my uncle was not perceived that way. You know what I mean? He frankly had kind of the opposite reputation. You know, it's just for whatever reason. You know what I mean? It's a different time. It's a different, you know what I mean? He just, frankly, I don't know. I'm sure Sam worked for other, you know, had some other, I think he worked for a bank at one point in time. And, you know, towards the end there, you know, I think even the oil and gas probably afforded him the ability just to farm, you know what I mean? To run cattle on the properties. And I know he was interested in, I mean, dude, super smart guy. Like went to Penn State. He's probably a certified genius. You know what I mean? Like too smart for your own good. And in some cases, you know, it can destroy you.
What can happen, Nick?
Next scroll on Instagram. And so that solar project, I think, was a big one that from a how he was perceived probably in the local area in the neighborhood. Like if he was disliked already,
that stacked it.
I think he was like he was hated by some people for sure for that, and understandably, you know, if my house was there and I knew this adjacent 80-acre field was going to be straight solar panels, and you know, knowing that somebody's already got money probably because of whatever, I can understand it. And so regardless of all that solar project essentially dictated, and the fine print in that, I don't know how this actually translated, because it doesn't seem like something I would abide by, but it basically said there could be no other leases on the property at that time.
Right.
And so they interpreted that to say no, it can't be any hunting leases. I was like, okay. So they terminated them. So they unenrolled from base camp at that time. There were no leases, and we essentially, you know,
got access,
written permission, had written permission. We made sure, you know what I mean, to have all that in place. And as much as we tried to push for exclusivity on that, and as easy as you'd think that would be, like to have a communication standpoint, like he just didn't understand what the benefit of that would be, you know, even, or why we, you know, and so we never really had that. We did our best, I think, to control certain areas, you know, and like definitely we made our presence known. But we would run into people, you know, we'd find stuff. And so like, it just was kind of like, we were blessed to have the acreage that we did, and I was grateful for the access, and I knew it was like somewhat temporary. It had always been, I don't know if volatile is the word, but probably. Yeah. But there were those other circumstances, you know what I mean? There's other people and stuff like that. So,
and really, you thought it was going to end up being solar panels, right?
It very possibly could have become that. I guess that was why we're like, hey, we'll hunt it for now. It could be solar panels. And I fully expected like, hey, this could be a field of solar panels.
Because they came in like clear cut timber and stuff.
Yeah, they did. Even on our stuff, you know, I mean, my parents had like an 80-acre field. I mean, dude, what these solar companies are willing to pay is just ridiculous.
Nuts.
I think it was going to be like, I think it was $1,000 an acre guaranteed for 40 years.
Wow.
A year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So do the math for me real quick. If you have 100 acres at $1,000 an acre, that's $100,000 a year for 40 years. That's life-changing money for a lot of people. You know, think about enrolling 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's $1 million.
$1 million.
It's $1 million a year
for 40 years. That's $40 million.
You know, you're just talking big money.
Yeah.
So from a financial standpoint, I'm like, boy, I'm almost like, if somebody's ready to check out of the cattle business already, that may or may not be making money, you know, I don't know. It's like, I get it. You can see the appeal on that.
And still has the subsurface rights collecting oil and gas money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, even me, I'm like, I guess I'll just go buy a farm somewhere else that, you know, and so I don't know. It's a hard situation but so anyways, I think the solar panel thing, it kind of fell through. The townships fought it, I don't think it will come back now because of what's happened here after the fact, but
I assume the township, like, snuffing it out was a huge, that was the main thing.
And it was a thing. I mean, dude, like everywhere you drive,
I remember seeing the signs.
No solar panel signs, and like it was you know what I mean, like people were at town meetings and stuff. There was like words exchanged between plenty of people. I mean, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
And so anyways, when that kind of like came to pass and it seemed like that solar panel thing was not going to happen, it sounds like that there was a deal put. I should say, in the midst of all this, there's a heavy Amish presence that seemed to just kind of start. We started to notice it. You know what I mean? It's been longer than just, even the past year. It's been over 5 to 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
5 years at least. Maybe if I look back further, it's like there's always been in certain pockets and stuff like that. But more recently, there's been quite a bit of it. There's just more. And I won't pretend to know exactly how that kind of happens, but I do think that like when a community gets established, a lot of them are drawn to a certain area, you know what I mean? And obviously,
right, like a community aspect.
And their travel is somewhat limited. There's, they themselves are primarily horse and buggy. I think they get drivers and stuff like that for longer distance stuff. But so there's been a lot of that happening. A lot of the smaller road frontage type properties, just residential stuff, adjacent to larger acre stuff is getting occupied by Amish. A lot of it. And so I think there was a deal put on the table here at some point to my uncle to purchase his ground there.
It was a weird dynamic too.
Which is about 2,500 acres.
Because like you guys heard rumors, but they were like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And it really was happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we heard it through, obviously I've got, friends and as do my parents. I mean, they're very, plugged in to like, the network there. They're really involved in their church.
It's not a big community. Like,
no. And so, yeah, we heard through the rumor mill basically that, a friend called me and said, hey, I heard, Sam's stuff is potentially being, in fact, I think the first time I heard it was like, hey, it's under contract.
Yeah. I remember you said
where
that.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And yeah, we asked him at one point. And when I say we, I don't have a relationship with Sam, really. It's
your mom and dad.
They try.
Yeah.
He's a tough person to have a relationship with. I think it's just kind of his personality. And he's had some tough,
sure,
things recently.
Yeah, lost a kid.
Mainly with Hayden. I get it, but he's just always been he's not a relational person. He's been tough to have a relationship. So when I say we, it's like I give my parents input the best that I can, and they, my mom is his sister, and my dad, right. They've known each other for whatever it's been for 30, 40 years, and they have a good relationship. I mean, my parents have been really good to Sam. Anytime they ask for anything, anytime we can help, my parents are very generous people. They asked him. They said, "Hey, Sam, we heard this. We just curious. Is this true?" Or and he said, "No, that it's not." So, and it was a lie. It turns out. So, so then over the course of I think it's whatever it's been here the past 6 months, we've just been able to confirm that it was in fact true. I think we made several appeals to purchase some stuff that was directly adjacent to us. And whether he continued to deny that it was under contract or just at that point, it's one of those things, dude. Like, I don't want to excuse it, but like whether he perceived that as a lie at that time or just like believed that it wasn't genuinely the case at that point, I don't know. And I'll probably never know.
Yeah.
Even the intention, whether it was done out of ill will, I can't believe that it was. I don't understand where that would be coming from, but it more was just like a social retardation, if you will, and not understanding that would negatively be in the same way that like we wanted, and I don't mean retardation like in that sense, but like he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand at that time why we wanted exclusive access, like it didn't register.
Yeah.
To where now why we would have wanted to purchase that ground, it's just like he doesn't.
Yeah. For what?
Doesn't understand, right? And so, ultimately, those properties did end up getting sold. I think they closed on them within the past couple weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Past 2-3 weeks. So it was bought by a group of individuals. I think I don't know exactly how they structured the deal there, but there's at least 4 leaders, members of this Amish community, and whether there's multiple involved, I really don't know. But they purchased all this ground. It's 2,500 or so acres, and not all of it's directly adjacent to us. It's sprawled. I mean, there's bits kind of all around. And what they've done now, as I understand it, they've turned around and immediately like been reselling it to the community.
That's so weird. That was the part when you were telling me that. I'm like, wait, I don't get it. They bought it as a community, but now they're selling it back to individuals
at
of
a
the community.
pretty significant markup, which I think is interesting. Like,
Yeah, that's really weird.
and honestly, it's going for rates that I'm like, for what it is, you know, as much
Hard
as
to
and
believe.
we really did push for it. I'm like, you know, your neighboring property comes up once in a, I mean, that's, you know, we talk about that constantly on here. I'm like, but for what it is, which just for perspective is like, it's pasture. It's pasture
Yeah.
ground with oil pads on it. It's not, at least the stuff that's immediately adjacent to us. It's like, it's not quality whitetail habitat. It's like I said, it's been heavily pastured, the timber included. You know what I mean? It's like there's just been cows on it for years. So the value that we would have, you know, that had from it is just buffer from our stuff, which I think is good habitat. We don't run cows on it. We actively are managing it, and access to certain parts of the farm. So that's why I wanted it.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted it. But yeah, at the end of the day, for what they ended up paying for it, I'm just like, dude, you can't justify that. You'll never get that back out. I mean, I don't think so anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
or it'll be quite some time.
Yeah. Well, and with my goal being obviously I want to make it the best hunting farm that I can, not deduct from the value. I mean, the two goals are in line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you see the amount of money that you could spend to get those pieces that were bought there versus what our farm now is worth and what that could be sold and repurposed for down the road. It's like, man, you could do a lot more with those goals in mind.
Sure.
For that dollar figure.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like that was the gist of kind of like how that happened. So like at the end of the day, we lost access to that 2,500 acres. And that piece immediately north of us is no longer going to just not be, we didn't even hunt it. It just was like void space buffer, and we used it for access. But it now is owned by some new.
Is there any other
some new people.
parcels that you perceive a problem? Like, do you think the Thompson will be a problem? Having people there, like in terms of other parcels that Sam owned and then sold out, that will affect your deer hunting?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because that one obviously makes sense because it was, like you said, it was an access piece, but. That's where perceived a lot of the central part of your property is, right? So you're doing a lot of effort there to keep those deer right there. Yeah. And now you've got neighbors, essentially.
I mean, dude, we always had neighbors. Like, yes, there's maybe more of a density on some of those surrounding pieces there, but there's so many people. It really is hard to quantify. I mean, dude, deer just disappear. It's like it's hard unless you really spend years like in a certain specific region or like location to understand neighbor dynamics and how deer like appear and disappear. Because everybody, I think, has like just a perception of like based on their own access of how the deer herd ebbs and flows. And so it's just been interesting to learn that around our place. I think as time has gone on, number one, I think it literally has increased. I think that hunting pressure has increased, but I think our perception of it has increased as well.
Right.
So not only are there more people, everything we talk about from a corn pile cell camera type of a dynamic, they're doing that, but also as time goes on, you become more aware of it. You understand? Oh, hey, there's also so-and-so is doing this or so-and-so is doing that. And so, it starts to put a very real, tangible understanding on the deer herd, and that's what you try to translate into decisions about whether we should shoot them or not.
Right. Yeah, that's the situation by situation that makes it interesting. Is and especially this year because it's a big mystery. Like nobody might hunt those parcels, or 6 Amish guys might be hunting those parcels over corn piles. Like, who knows? Like, you don't, there's no intel to understand what that dynamic is like, especially this year. In future years, you'll begin to understand it better. Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, we're going to try to obviously make contact with new neighbors. I mean, that's all you can do is make the acquaintance and to try to understand what they're about and what they purchased the property for, and if we can align our goals at all. That'd be best case scenario.
Yeah. And worst case is you're going to end up flipping the farm basically, right? Like cover where
Yeah.
food is food, where cover is now type
Yeah.
of situation to pull them in tighter.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, initially here, I think it's just watching, waiting and kind of trying to understand how if the property is going to be affected and how, and then assessing and making changes if necessary.
How's that look for like these deer? Like we're talking about Flyer at 5 and GR8, and obviously this really big 4-year-old, two big 4-year-olds now.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that just kind of a play it as it goes type of thing? Is there a decision to be made? Because the other dynamic that we've talked about on here before is like there's 5 of you guys as well that are hunting,
right?
And it's so it's like what's everybody like? There's probably not 5 5-year-olds to go kill.
Mm-mm.
So it's like what's everybody else's goal from your farm standpoint, barring what's happening on the outside of the property.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a collective decision. I mean, obviously, I put a lot of effort into the farm, and so my opinion matters, and I know those guys appreciate and will respect that, frankly. So, but I'm also not trying to be like a tyrannical, like we're only shooting these deer and this. I want us to have fun.
Yeah.
And so it is, I think, a rolling decision, and again, probably on a case by case basis if we can handle that type of a thing. But I don't know. We'll just have to, probably have a meeting essentially.
Yeah.
Get everybody together and like, hey, I'll give you the inventory to the best of my ability. We can try to interpret the surrounding factors as much as we can, and then make a decision about some of these deer. Not like it's like, hey, if we decide to kill them, it's ours.
Yeah, they're dead.
But it's just a decision whether to pursue them or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think that affects the active strategies of like you're not going to go and hunt an area if there's not a deer that you're targeting in an area. Like it doesn't exist.
Right.
So it's more of a strategy around like, hey, these are the bucks that we're trying to kill. So like that's where the plan goes of active strategy to like hunt these areas, not this area where there's no deer that meets the criteria of what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, already was a big dynamic with just the internal side of things, and now you add that loss of acreage and potential increase of hunters, to be determined, and it definitely poses a challenge to somebody trying to grow mature deer.
Yeah, well, and it's unfortunate too because we really have seen growth in that specific part of the farm just because there hasn't been surrounding hunting pressure. We've been able to keep our selves contained enough to like where the pressure is like it's reasonable, and so like I think this year we've got more.
Yeah, it seems like that's
4,
the
5, and 6-year-old
right?
deer than we've ever had. Yeah, and it's not by mistake. I mean, we designed it that way. You know, it's like I built all the food sources around it that way, and so it's really cool to see like, okay, this can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done this
Whereas
way.
like the other parts of the farm that had super neighbor pressure don't produce.
Yeah, and you can see that pretty clearly. I mean, frankly, as a part of this deal, I was literally trying to trade another part of the farm that at face value is way better.
Yeah, from just a layout,
timber value, land value.
Yeah.
Everything about it is better. Mm-hmm. I was prepared to trade it straight up for this piece here just because it's that the insulation is what allows deer to get age.
Yep.
And I felt that it paired with like a cohesive piece there long term would be more valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it didn't work.
Didn't work. It's crazy though to understand like what so on one hand, we have new neighbors and we have there's that whole dynamic going on there. But the silver lining is like, hey, our farm is worth double what I thought.
Yeah.
what I would have thought it was worth type of a thing, So that's attractive, if I step back and like, try to look at just,
Yeah, you got some good comps now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy what they were paying.
Yeah, but it's not like oh, okay, well, let's just flip the farm then and buy another one. It's like that's the family farm. There's a sentimental thing. Like my parents' house is there, and a lot of these guys. This will drop before the roadshow.
Yeah, the roadshow.
You know, you guys will get to see some of this. You know, I'll be happy to point out and show you, explain kind of where these kind of things are at and how they fall and stuff. So it was just an effort to try to, you know, we were seeing the success growing a deer herd in a specific thing where there wasn't the surrounding pressure, and that was the factor that was doing it. Plus everything, all the work we were putting into it. So the goal was to try to create space, just to create as much depth to your property as possible. So, and I think we will still try to do that. You know, it will just, you know, push in other directions. You know, I mean, I think there's other, you know, other farms to be bought and stuff, and they're not for sale necessarily, but long term, you know, it's kind of the lifetime growth model of that farm. You know, if we can continue to do that. But I mean, I just feel like my perception of it now is like as real as it's ever been in terms of like what the farm is. You know,
which is what?
It's a challenging farm to hunt.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the sense that I mean it in. It's like there's phases, I think, of like what do you do with my one?
I know.
There we go. There's phases, I think, of like infatuation with, you know, and I don't want any of this to sound like, oh, you know, poor Jared, he only has 1,000 acres to hunt now. You know, so I'll start off with the acknowledgement that like we are super blessed and super grateful to be able to have that. I mean, it's an amazing thing that a lot of people don't get to experience. So I you know, that's the baseline of where I'm coming from here. Once you can like just be okay with that and start looking at the property for what it is, there's just a reality to like, you know, hey, just first of all, not all farms are great. You know what I mean? Some of them are really hard to hunt. Some of them, the habitat is not that good. You know, so you start looking at all those things. And so over the course of, you know, I think my parents ended up with, you know, the first time we had exclusive access to this farm here was, I want to say 7 years ago, 7, 8 maybe.
Okay. When they like bought it?
They bought it.
It sounds right.
When they bought it. And so, I mean, it's interesting. Like you feel like you learn a lot every year, but also it's like I learned things last year, a lot last year that I was like, oh, here's how this works. Here's how I can improve this. Here's how I need to access this. And so I think I've had adequate time here now to understand, especially, I mean, dude, we've learned a lot over that course of time. You know, I mean, we haven't even been doing the podcast that long. Yeah. You know, not 7 years anyways, that I've seen I know what good properties are, or just strengths and weaknesses. And so now I think I'm very clear on what ours are and what they aren't.
Yeah.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Predator Camo.
Man, this one feels good, right? I know people have been looking at this picture over your shoulder for a while now. I think that was 2018, but we just, over the last, you know, how many years, keep coming back to Predator Camo because it's been so damn good for us.
No doubt. I think we bought our first set off of Jen at the Archer Trade Show almost 10 years ago. Yeah. And Jen's still with the company, and the patterns have, you know, only improved since then. They actually were recently acquired within the past couple of years. We've had a chance this past year to go and meet with new ownership, talk about redesigning a lot of the old lines, plans for new patterns, all of the above. So really excited about what's to come, not only this coming year, but in years to come. You know, there's a lot of good stuff coming from Predator.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it's always been going back to that breakup pattern, right? That's the historic look, whether you're talking about the spring greens or brown deceptions or fall grays. Yeah. I mean, that breakup is really what's been so powerful for us in a tree stand. And right now, they're letting anyone use the code HUNTR on the Predator Camo website and get 20% off any of the lines, including all the new stuff that dropped here in July.
Be the Predator.
I think the hardest part about that farm, not from like a hunting standpoint, is that, and we've seen a lot of properties and we know a lot of people, that area has world-class genetics. I mean, the deer that we're talking about at 4 is, you know, probably mid-70s at least. I don't know, maybe bigger. Who knows, right? But he's big. And he's not the only one. He's got genes that tie into multiple deer from the past that we know that were in that area as well. I mean, it's 200-inch genetics, right? And like, as much as we all want to think that they're out there, it's like there's plenty of farm. I mean, every farm that I have, minus maybe Illinois, even if I could get deer to 6 years old, wouldn't be 200s. You know,
well,
and I'm not saying it's every deer. But I am saying that there are clearly a lot of bucks every year that have the potential to be 180 to 200 inches if they hit maturity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that many. I mean, they
More
are
than most.
They're still far and few between.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Like I've got plenty of deer that are, I mean, not plenty, but like, and it's hard to know if this is like just mainly a pressure dynamic is why this happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if you put and even this scenario is not like, it doesn't just happen this way, but like like hypothetically, if you put a 140 inch 5 or 6 year old buck,
Yep.
and a 150 inch 3-year-old
Mm-hmm.
next to each other,
Mm-hmm.
or they both come walking through together, like which one's getting shot more than likely?
I mean,
Do we know? Like, do we think it's like
in the normal sense, probably the 153-year-old
yeah.
because he's bigger than Antler. That's what most people are going to do. And even more so than that, it will perceive as even bigger because his body's going to be smaller than that other buck.
What if they're the same? What if they're both 150 inches?
His body's still going to perceive him as looking bigger.
And you think that deer's more likely to get shot?
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting.
Absolutely.
Because we do see that. Like
I'm not saying that for everyone. Like, I would like to believe that guys like us and guys listening to this are like, hey, I want to kill a 5-year-old and understand that. But I also get it. Like,
well, so this is relevant to like our area too. Like, and this is not a to look down on any of our neighbors or anything, but just in talking to them, there's not really a perception of age or like we have like the Beadnells, is a neighbor of ours, and they understand age class and what they are, and just like we have, I mean, we've both parties have shot some 3 and 4 year old deer.
Sure.
It's happened. And that's okay. But they at least, I think, can wrap their head around it. Yep. I don't think we have another neighbor that is like, all they see is antlers.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
You know what I mean? So you really almost can't even have that conversation. I've tried. I've tried to be like, hey, here's.
Yeah. I don't know many hunters, the conversation that you can have to say like, hey, if there's a 140-inch 5-year-old in front of you and a 150-inch 3-year-old in front of you, you should pass that 3-year-old to kill the 5. It doesn't register.
Yeah, it's just like they just don't. It's interesting because like we're just thinking about the animals in a different way. Mm-hmm. Like they just like, it's hunting season. Mm-hmm. Time to go shoot it.
I'm out there to kill the biggest antler deer I see. Period.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. It's just
it's an Eberhard mindset.
Yeah, and that's fine. Whoever mindset it is, but that is it's not the way to grow giants. That's for sure.
No.
So that's
you're killing a giant at 150 and 3 that should be 180 at 5.
Well, and that's just, I mean, dude, there are levels. Like, to be clear and not to be insensitive, like, a 150-inch 4-year-old is not a giant.
No.
It's a 150-inch 4-year-old.
It's a big deer.
It's a bigger deer than most people have shot or maybe ever will shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking away from the animal, but like what that deer will be at 6 to 8 is a giant.
Yeah. And it's just damn near impossible in most places to ever see a deer that way.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It's just
and that's the struggle. That's the internal battle. I'm like, is what I want even possible? Is it even feasible? Because on one hand, I see deer. I have deer that are 6 years old and 7 years old.
And what do they look like?
They're generally smaller, antler.
Because people aren't shooting them. They're shooting the 150-inch 3-year-old.
Which is the root of my question there,
Mm-hmm. And I think you see that across the board. If you're fortunate enough to get deer to 5 or 6, I don't care if you're on public or private. If you're fortunate to get them there, I would say that most of them are significantly inferior to the 3 and 4-year-olds in that area that are getting killed.
Okay, so now here's the hard question: is like, so does that mean that you just continue to pass those 160-inch 4-year-olds?
Because you're trying to get them to 5?
Yeah.
I mean, if you shoot them, they aren't getting to 5.
Yes, but in my experience, if I don't shoot them, they also aren't making it to 5.
I know, man. That is the root of the cause. I think you and it's a sick discussion to have. You have to be willing to have that deer killed legally by someone else and you not kill it to give it a shot at making it. Otherwise, eventually you're not going to be satisfied killing 4-year-olds because you know that it's not making it to the goal you want.
Yes, but is it, well, let me give you the stats first. You know what I mean? Not that I have it like play by play here, but like it is well over 90% of the 4-year-olds with potential that we've passed that have been killed legally by neighbors.
And I would say that's, I'm taking like an Iowa out of this conversation and a Kansas, right? That's different. And I would say in most states, that's probably normal, right? Because I think we've talked about it. Like, let's say you have.
It's going to be property specific. I would say for a 1,000-acre property, that's high.
Yeah, probably. Maybe not in a bait state, though.
That's the factor.
Yeah,
obviously.
A 1,000-acre property in a non-bait state, that would be extremely high.
Extremely different.
1,000-acre property in a bait state, I don't think 1,000 acres means shit.
That's right. Yeah, unless it has significant contiguous depth and you are also baiting in the core.
Yeah, and other barriers, rivers, highways, whatever, to cut it off.
Yeah.
When you've got neighbors of 5, 10, 15, 20 acres against you that are all baiting because it's legal, it doesn't have near the weight of a 1,000-acre property. Yeah,
so the decision now is like you taking all that into account and saying, okay, how long do you pass these deer and expect a different result?
Yeah, it's the definition of stupidity.
Right.
The hardest part there is, though, let's say you have 20 bucks that make it to 1-year-old, like they're fawns that make it to 1. How many of those 1-year-olds end up making it to 5? My guess is 2, 3 at the most.
I don't know.
In a normal scenario,
I would think higher, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I wouldn't think so. So, like, if you're talking about,
why do you think it's that low?
It's just because people are killing them at 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, you're saying make it to what age?
To 5.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said make it to 2.
No. To get to 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So every year you're losing some, whether it's natural.
Yes, I would say you're right on.
Yeah. So people. So like if you get to the 4-year-old age class and you're sitting with 5 deer out of that original 20, and you lose 4 of those 5, that's probably normal.
Yeah. Right.
That would be my guess. Maybe it's higher in a bait state. Maybe it's significantly higher in a bait state. Right. Maybe it's 5 out of 5, like, or damn near like 4.5 out of 5. Like every other year, one makes it through, type of thing. Yeah,
well, and what we're saying too, like the factor that you can't really account for is like there's the ones with high scoring potential and not. The likelihood of them getting killed at certain age classes, like. This temptation buck, is the high scoring, one of the high scoring 4-year-olds that we're talking about. I passed him last year as a 3-year-old.
And I guarantee people would have
Nobody would have passed him last year.
They would have killed him.
Yeah, nobody would have passed him. So I'm like, all right.
He made it a year.
In that circumstance, he made it. And frankly, had these properties not been bought recently, I would have a fairly strong argument for saying, I think he can make it another year.
But now that's weighing against it for sure.
Definitely is weighing against it.
Yeah, man.
So that's a case
I don't know
specific.
if there's a good answer for it. Like my standards in PA are low, and it's not a bait state. Like if it's 4, I kill it. In this state.
Well, so that's the thing. I'm like, is it stupider for me to pass deer that I know are not at their full potential, or for me to not be satisfied with an age of class I know they'll never make it past? You can call that Jared's complex.
Well, I think it's no different than these guys that are going in and fencing 3 sides. Like they're fencing 3 sides because they want these deer to get to 5 years old or 6 years old. And then they get them there and then they start killing them. And eventually it's like, okay, like this is easy now. Like they all, a chunk of them make it to 5 and 6. Like
I don't know anybody that is at that point personally. I don't know.
I bet it'll get there fast.
I don't know if it will as fast as you think, man. I think that, and I'm not advocating for fences in any regard, especially not, 4 sides is its own thing altogether. But like, I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it because it's like, again, like do I shoot him? Do I not shoot him? Here's his chances. If you have a problem neighbor, you know what I mean? Do you just allow for it to happen, or do you know what I mean? At what level do you say?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, because here's an extreme case for just for fun on this situation here. In a situation, and whether it's this neighbor or any neighbor, you know what I mean? You have a neighbor come in and they, they're just baiting the crap out of it, and they're able. I guess in this case here specifically, it is a good example of like where we have all of the good habitat. So like in a non-baiting environment, like I'm not really threatened by those neighbors at all.
No, your 1,000 acts like 1,000.
That's right. But in this situation here, they could have the ability to come in and just suck deer off like like there's no tomorrow.
And they will.
I don't know that they will or not. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's normal deer behavior. Maybe it's not constantly, but at some point, the buck goes to the corn pile.
Well, yeah, but whether those guys do that or not, I don't know.
Agree.
I don't even know if they're hunters.
Agree.
You know what I mean? I have no idea.
They're Amish, so.
Yeah, chances are pretty good.
Chances are high.
Pretty good. So the question is, do you, to what lengths do you go to protect your investment?
Yeah.
And also, there's consideration of neighborliness. I want to be neighborly. I'm fine. I'm not selfish. I want everybody to benefit. But I personally view the baiting thing as there's a step there over.
Oh, it's huge.
And it's legal. So it's not an illegal thing that I'm like, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily worry about the fence being neighborly. You do whatever you want on your own. It's your land. It's no different than me putting up a privacy fence in my backyard at my house because I don't want, to stare at you on your porch.
It is different.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because this is where the point of contention would get to is like if they do that, obviously that's the plan. They want to pull deer up off the property. That's not a wrong thing. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just like
the deer. You don't own the deer.
I would do that too. You know what I mean? It's like that's a good strategy. It's like in a bait state. Let me just buy this piece that whether it has habitat or not that butts up to a good piece, and I'll just draw them out of there.
Yeah, that's like every
deer
hunter strategy.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah, that's a sanctuary. You can't hunt it. Great. I want a piece against it.
Yeah. And so if I put a fence up there, he's obviously not gonna.
It'll deter it. It won't stop it. I mean, they can still go around the fence. They can come in from other areas. I mean, deer cover a landscape.
Yeah,
it'll reduce it.
You can deter it pretty good.
Yeah, but it won't stop it by any means.
I mean, depending on how the property lays, it can. In a case like this one here, like there's no habitat there. There's no reason for him to be there.
Sure.
I could block him out pretty easy. It'd be a lot of fence.
Could work the opposite though too.
Nope, because I have all habitat.
Well, but what if they just will go around the fence and find a corn pile and a secluded woodlot and they just stay there?
I'll put corn on my side.
Then they have to come the whole way back around.
They'll never leave it because I have the habitat. If you have the habitat at the end of the day, you can hold deer. The corn pile is what's sucking them up out of there.
Sure.
If you put a fence and put a corn pile on your side, they're not going to leave your side.
I think they will. You can't stack mature bucks. There's only so many you can hold.
1,000 acres.
Well, but not right there. Like if that's the core piece of the habitat and that's where the bait is and stuff, like I don't think you can stack 4 or 5-year-olds right there. They won't tolerate it. Eventually somebody will lose and leave.
What I'm saying is other than the corn pile, there's no reason for him to be on that other property.
Oh, I agree. But deer do things that just deer do.
Yeah, but the fence is the extenuating circumstance.
But it's just one side, right? Now you're starting to talking about like, well, I'm going to bring this down a little bit and I'm going to bring this down. And then like, this is a physical barrier.
That is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Then no, they can't get out. It's too much.
Which for the record is not what I'm proposing, but what I'm saying is it is possible. And
sure.
And we see that in the Midwest. I mean, obviously a lot of,
it's crazy.
People are doing it, which I do think is wild. To see that
they're not in bait states.
They're not in bait states for the most part. It's happening in non-bait states, which is interesting.
It's crazy. That's a false confidence, in my opinion. Because I don't think you have near the control of the deer in those situations. Even with the non-baits, the deer just are gonna, especially in the Midwest. Like you could have a better property than your neighbor, but like they'll still travel. They'll still go over there. They'll still utilize other habitat.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
They're not built to be small, circled in creatures. Like, they're built to move and to travel and to explore.
Yeah, well, it's obviously a strategy thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain places where they want to travel and that you can deter travel with certain things.
And that definitely can happen. Yeah, that definitely can happen. Yeah, it's...
So I don't know. I mean, dude, I didn't even mean to go all the way down. It's not like even a consideration that I'm having here. There are no fences on our farm currently, you know. It's not something that I think you'd almost like, I don't know. It's kind of a catch-22 because it's like, on one hand, you'd be like, well, I would just, I'd sell it and roll into something better. But it's like, that's not really the nature of the farm in this moment. You know what I mean? It's a...
Sure.
It's what I want it to be, but it's not, I don't own it outright, and so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a hard thing because there's a point of, like, let's say whether it's temptation or that other one, like one of these big 4-year-olds gets through and makes it to 5, and it's like, there he is. He did it.
Yeah. And
that deer's special because most don't do it. Mm-hmm. If every year just started doing that, eventually I'm not saying they wouldn't be special, but it would just be... it become more common and it wouldn't be as desirable. Then it would be like, well, let's get him to 6 or let's get him to 7. The bar just continues to go at some point.
Yeah, but I don't think we're anywhere close to that. Like,
no.
I don't think I would be upset if I had 170-inch 5-year-olds every year. Even one or two of them. I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think most people obviously would. That's Iowa, right? In a lot of cases, for the right properties in the right areas.
I don't know. We're so far from that line that I just don't know that it's even like a discussion. Because, dude, I mean, if I could grow deer to 10 years old, I freaking would try. You know what I mean? And yeah, we'd probably, you know what I mean? That's overkill. Obviously, it seems like between 6 and 8 you're probably going to see peak antler potential there.
Which still seems so far away. Like 6 seems damn near impossible.
Well, dude, I mean, to feed everybody's palate, you know what I mean? If I could have 5 or 6 160 plus inch 6-year-olds for everybody to hunt every year,
wouldn't happen anyways, right? I mean, because even if you had 5 or 6 6-year-olds, they're not going to be 150 to 160 inches.
No, because
you've got 6-year-olds right now that are 130, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean,
most of them.
Yeah. So it's just they're not gonna. It's because they're getting shot as 3-year-olds.
It's interesting. Almost the bell curve of like antler potential is like we don't. It seems like the biggest antler deer are generally 3 and 4-year-olds
because that's where they're getting shot, and those big ones are getting passed.
That's right.
The old ones are getting passed.
Yeah. So like if you put them on a bell curve, put the antler score on a bell curve, it seems like not because they're like maxing out potential, but just because of how the hunting pressure.
High graded.
Yeah, exactly. You're seeing higher scoring deer at 3 and 4, and then they tail off at 5, 6, 7. You have a couple stragglers that are just like 4,
it's
not genetically strong deer.
It's like if you go in and cut all the good timber out, your woodlot's going to be shit.
Yeah.
They won't produce anything.
Yeah. It's interesting. And it's almost kind of like it leaves you like, so then what? Do you just say, okay, if that is the case and I can't change it, am I just, is it better? Am I going to be happier hunting 5-year-old 130-inch deer or shooting the 4-year-old 170-inch deer?
Yeah, and I don't know, right? I mean, like
how big of a difference is even that age? And sometimes they don't do anything.
A lot of times.
And what if you do? So you're like, okay, I passed this deer at 170 inches. He's 4, and now he's 5, and he's 170 inches.
Yeah.
But I just ran that risk of maybe not having that. Like, yes, I do value the age, and I do think a 5-year-old is a different animal. But like, how much?
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, it's the there's a weird dynamic there because like I look at it on my side of like clearly I want these deer to make it, to 5. Like I'm not thinking about 6 at all, but I'm thinking 5 a lot. I just want to see them. I just want to see them live. Like there's points where like I don't even want to kill them because I just want them to like keep living and the story keep going and see what they could do, right? But if somebody else kills them, to a point, like I'm okay with it.
To what point though?
I don't know.
It's a sad.
That's what I don't know.
It's a sad story because it's like death is coming.
Yeah. They all die
at some point, and evidence and history will tell you like when it likely will be.
Mm-hmm.
And you can skirt death,
mm-hmm.
but for how long? And is it worth the risk of never meeting, of striving for an unattainable goal?
Yeah, no, I mean that's unrealistic expectations. Right? That's like me saying I'm only going to kill 5-year-olds in Pennsylvania every year. Like there's some out there, but it's damn near unrealistic.
Yeah. Well, and where the group dynamic gets interesting is everybody has a certain willingness
mm-hmm.
to like hold out
mm-hmm.
for an unrealistic, potentially unrealistic goal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 32 and I just whatever understanding that I bring to the situation versus some of the other guys in our group, there's a willingness or an unwillingness to take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, the meeting of the...
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, the hardest part is like, I don't know. Situationally, it maybe it is a case-by-case basis or situational basis, but like, there are for sure situations where like I don't know, I could kill a deer and like just the situation in itself is awesome and like it's a great memory, it's a core memory, whatever. And mine's different too because like at this point like I just want the kids to kill deer. Like I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like sure, there's probably going to be a buck on one of the farms this year that I'm like, that's Dad's, and I'm hunting him hard.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, like I just want the kids to have good experiences, and I get my experience, or my dad, and I get my experiences through that. But there's also a point, we've talked about it before, where it's like, I know there is a point of me when if I shoot a 4-year-old and I walk up on it, that I'm like, it's awesome, but like I know that I cheated it out.
Well, and here's what I'm maybe proposing is like, that's because our expectation is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen 5+ year-old deer,
mm-hmm.
in other circumstances,
mm-hmm.
and try to carry that over to somewhere else. So can you reframe that? I mean, if at a certain point, and I'm not saying we're here, I'm just for the sake
mm-hmm.
of fleshing it out. If the reality of a farm, as we've seen it over 10 years,
yep.
is that it can only do this.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that it's a fact,
yeah,
because there's always like a chance. But like
mm-hmm.
if over a 10-year period,
mm-hmm.
the rate is 100%,
mm-hmm.
that if you pass 4-year-olds that score over 150, they get shot.
Mm-hmm.
Should you make a decision to back that off, and can you reframe your mind that hey, I need to choose to be happy with what this ground
mm-hmm.
can produce, because the
yeah.
alternative is perpetual disappointment.
Well, but I also think it's
and some people would say sell the farm. You know what I mean? That you always have a decision.
But you can't, because it's the home. It's home right now for mom and dad. I think that it really probably comes down to, can you reframe your own mindset to be content with killing 130-inch 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds, knowing that those are mature deer, and not worrying about antler score?
Yeah, well, I definitely can. I'm not. That's.
And I think you answered your question. Then you're not going to kill a 4-year-old.
Yes, and that works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, but we still have obviously, I'd like to kill higher scoring.
I know, but
deer.
It seems like that's working against you per the data.
Well, so the question is not, can I pass?
Mm-hmm.
It's because I think the answer is
mm-hmm.
I can. So okay, that's a good.
Because there are, what we said, 4 or 5-year-old plus right now on camera, and I'm not saying they're all going to be there for opening day, but like right now they're
Well, what I'm talking about is like, so it would be, if it was just me on this farm,
mm-hmm.
hypothetically, if it was just me on this farm, and we have the deer that we have now,
yep,
it would be. Well, it would still be a consideration because of like the neighboring things that have happened here, and because that deer has has so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I would be targeting the older age class bucks, and
mm-hmm.
and I'm happy with that. If I shoot GR8, he's a 135-inch 6-year-old buck. Great.
Yeah, bunch of history.
He's a target animal for sure. The question though is, the other 4 or 5 guys that hunt with us, and where do we set the line as a farm, as a group? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that per what we're talking about is the line is like these higher scoring 4-year-olds, we can't kill them. Like they're off the table.
Well, I think that would be contrary to what we just said, right?
Why?
Because they're gonna get killed. And they're
for sure going to get killed if you kill them.
I know. And that's the hard perception.
That's what I'm saying is like right now you have mature deer to shoot.
Yeah.
Maybe not one for everybody, but let's be honest. Not everybody. It's not going to be 100% success anyways.
No.
So like
I don't expect
3
that.
guys could hunt one mature deer and still never kill that deer. Right. That's reality. There's a high likelihood that those high scoring 4-year-olds get killed by neighbors if you guys don't hunt them.
Right.
But there's also a chance they make it through.
Well, there's frankly a higher chance of them getting killed by neighbors if we do hunt them, just because of the pressure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't hunt them.
Well, but they're all. This ain't like all these deer they live in the same spot. Just it's all intermingled. Like, again, it's regionally specific. Like I've seen that. We're like, okay, just this deer runs to this bottom or whatever. But like on ours, dude, it's like,
yeah,
they're just all there.
I guess here's my thing. If I looked at it like from a future point of view, is like, let's just say we accept the fact that all of these high scoring 4-year-olds are going to get killed. We've tried year after year after year of passing them, right? Neighbors killed them. So we'll put them in the bucket for their huntable deer. If that buck comes through, kill it. Okay. Right?
That's kind of what we did last year, for the record.
If you guys start being successful there, then your neighbors start killing your 3-year-olds, which means your 4-year-olds in 2-3 years are going to be dog shit, because they're going to kill all your They're killing your high scoring 4-year-olds, which means your high scoring 3-year-olds live. They become your high scoring 4-year-olds. You see what I'm saying? You guys start killing your high scoring 4-year-olds, then your neighbors start killing high scoring 3-year-olds because they have to settle. That's what's left.
Right.
Now your 4-year-olds next year, you don't have any high scoring 4-year-olds. You have 120-inch 4-year-olds. And that's the domino. That's the domino effect that I've seen happen on a lot of properties. Is when people start to settle, then the compensation that comes with that dictates a much different future. It's not. There isn't maybe you'll always have really good 3-year-olds, but you'll never have good 4-year-olds again because you guys are now killing. The only reason you have good 3 or 4-year-olds is because you guys were passing the 4-year-olds. Your neighbors killed them, so your 3-year-olds made it to 4.
Well, and in fairness, I don't know that anyone passed a 4-year-old last year. You know what I mean? I think Brian shot Flyer at 4 and just hit it in the shoulder, and that deer happened to live. The other 4-year-old died, and I don't know how. Yeah. And there was maybe another 1 or 2 just that were floaters, but would kind of come. But as far as the deer that I felt were anchored there. Yeah,
there wasn't really any big 4-year-olds last year, right? Flyer would have been the biggest.
Well, Flyer, and there was that other like curly-cued 9-point that died sometime. I don't know how he died.
Probably got shot by a neighbor.
I don't know. Yeah, he was pretty interior to us. I really don't know.
Or EHD.
Or got gored. I don't know.
Yeah,
just
something.
He died. I do think we had some EHD on that farm last year, for sure.
So this year you've got, a few good 4-year-olds.
Yeah, like a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like those are the ones that my fear is if, let's just say hypothetically you kill 2 of the 5, 2 or the 4, whatever, then probably 2 or 3 of your good 3-year-olds die due to neighbors, because those guys are for sure vulnerable in a corn pile. And then that domino effect starts.
Yeah. You're probably right about that dynamic.
Because they're going to kill a deer. Your neighbors are going to kill a deer on a corn pile. And it just so happens it's a big 4-year-old because you guys aren't killing them. Well, if you hunt those and kill them, then it's going to end up being a big 3-year-old.
I see the logic.
And again, it's not proven, right? It's just theory.
Right.
But like, if 3 years down the road, you're like, what the hell, dude? Like this farm's gone to shit. We can't produce a 4-year-old over 120 ones because like all the 123-year-olds are getting killed.
Right.
Because you guys are killing the 150 and 164-year-olds.
Well, and as far as like a high grading standpoint, like we do have some like we've got there's some junk all around. You know what I mean? Like
In every herd there is.
in every herd, yeah. And there's just for whatever reason, like there's some superstars.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because it's antler envy.
Even body-wise. Isn't it interesting to see
yeah.
that 4-year-old next to GR8?
It was giant.
Really gives you some perspective on, like, GR8 on his own.
Just like Brian's buck a few years ago, that 4-year-old. Monster body.
Monster.
Way bigger than most of your 5-year-olds.
Similar probably to this 4-year-old we're looking at now. Like, when I found his horns last year, he was the only one that I found that I was like, these are way bigger than I thought.
Yeah, the ones with the base and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a toad.
And GR8 I was like super unimpressed when I found those. I thought the deer was mid-40s.
Yeah. Which could be the case with Temptation because Beadnell was like, yeah, these weren't really that big last year.
It definitely is.
You know, and he looks big this year, but you could get your hands on him and it'd be like, oh, he's not that big.
Isn't it interesting, too, that we, even as a 3-year-old, we're like, is he 2?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you have like bigger bodied deer and you have smaller bodied deer, and it definitely has a perception on their antlers.
That's why a guy sees a giant rack buck coming through and kills it and ends up being a 140-inch 3-year-old. It's because it looked massive on his body.
That's what's different about Iowa, dude, and the Midwest, maybe just in general, is those deer are bigger.
Giant bodies.
So the horns, even though they may not look that impressive,
Kansas,
they're just everything is bigger.
Yeah, Kansas. We can look at them and we can see like, hey, this is a 3-year-old or this is a 5-year-old. But when you look at the antlers, you're like, he's not that impressive. But then when you get your hands on him, like that 8 we found dead last year, the one that we had a pictures from the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember walking up on that rack. I'm like, damn, that's way bigger than I thought it was because his body was enormous. Yeah. So it's that dynamic that I think really starts to play in.
And I think that's in every herd too. It's not just a Northeast Midwest. You have big deer and you have small deer, and like it's cool it's just interesting to see them. We'll post that picture at some point so you guys can see that 4-year-old next to that 6-year-old, and that 4-year-old dwarfs him. Height, just size, mass, everything's bigger.
Yeah, just dwarfs him. And so the antler envy thing is a big one because like I would say it was just like last year.
That 4-year-old's a stud, dude. Anybody would shoot that deer.
Like last year, if you would have shot GR8, you would have walked up and been like, maybe even looking at him, you'd be like, that's great deer. And then when you cut the antlers off him, you'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because it's proportioned to his body.
Well, yeah. So for context, I thought he was like mid-40s. And when I found the shed, I'm thinking he was like mid-20s. Yeah. 125.
It's a big difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge difference. And that's what it took for me to realize he's just a smaller deer.
Yeah, smaller body deer.
And now that I'm seeing him next to other, deer whose age I know, it gives me some frame of reference. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a weird dynamic. But that's the antler envy part that, man, it makes it damn near impossible to manage because, guys see a big rack deer moving through the woods and, it could be a 140-inch 3-year-old, which looks monstrous, but it's because it's on a 3-year-old body that weighs 140 pounds.
Well, here's the silver lining. I mean, I'm always looking for a positive.
Where's the glass half full?
Is we can, I'm obviously going to try to make an acquaintance with those new neighbors, and I'm going to just share with them up front, like, hey, what we're trying to do. I can't force anybody to do anything on their own property. They paid a lot of money for it.
I think that's one of your biggest, it's not because of you guys, but just the biggest flaws you guys have, as do most, is like, you don't know what's getting shot by who. You don't know what happens to these deer. You don't know who's killing what. Yeah. I mean, you have an idea.
Yeah, we have an idea.
But it's
50,
like
50. There's some we don't know.
Without transparency of like, I killed this one or I killed this one. It's like some of these deer just disappear. I assume they're dead, right?
Yeah.
But like, and I say that because like in my area, maybe not Ohio, but in Kentucky especially, those deer just disappear into 10,000 acres of Daniel Boone National Forest or 100,000 acres. Like they may be alive and they just disappear and they come back 2 years later.
Yeah.
At your area, there's too many places, too many people. Like, they die.
If they're gone, they're dead.
They're dead
more than likely. It's really hard to get people to believe that deer can live, like enough to get them to make a decision to.
I think it's worse than that. I think they just don't comprehend it or care. I don't think age factors into their brain at all.
Maybe not. But even if it does, like I think, I'm sure there's some element, because I would say most guys are targeting a 3-year-old or bigger.
Do you think they know they're targeting a 3-year-old?
Not maybe not that specifically, but they're familiar with what a 3-year-old looks like.
They're targeting based on antlers.
Yeah, antler mass.
I would agree.
Of a certain antler size, 130 and up.
I bet they kill big 2-year-olds though.
they definitely will kill some 2-year-olds, and we have some really high genetic potential 2-year-olds that
Mm-hmm.
get shot also.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough thing, man. Because I don't. I mean, I've shown it even with my Kentucky neighbor, and he was great. But I was like, hey, like this deer was 4 last year. I hope he's 5. Here's all these deer to 3, and like, it doesn't. I think in the moment they're like, yeah, man, he'll be a great deer next year. They ain't passing him.
Well,
he's not letting that deer walk.
Yeah, that's kind of it, dude. I don't think most people have any idea what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they see a deer with antlers, they're like, there's one.
Yeah.
And it's just a totally different starting point from where, you and I know every deer on the property. Like we're intimately, I know who they are. I know pretty close to how old I think they are.
Yep.
And so think about the advantage that would give us in terms of like from a management, like deer that we would decide to hunt
enormous.
versus.
There he is.
I mean, you can do it. Go out and put yourself in a mindset of like, freaking Ray was out there taking hay off the other day. And I just, went up and talked to him, and there's a bunch of deer out grazing on a hillside there. And for a minute, I can just put myself in his mindset to be like, he has no idea what's out there.
No, he's like, oh, big buck. I saw a big buck.
He has his history to go on, which is I've seen
buck
over the years. I've seen, and Ray's not even really a hunter. It's more like his nephews and kids and stuff. And so, but just for the sake of like, put yourself in a mindset of somebody who's not actively, running trail cameras, trying to inventory deer type of a thing. Like you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you go out into the woods during the hunting season, not knowing what's out there, then you're just going to shoot something that you perceive as like as a good deer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I even see that like on public here. Like last year, I found a spot that had a lot of 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and a couple like 4+s probably. And that camera's still running this year. And all of a sudden, I'm like, there's a 4+, there's a 4+, there's a 4+. And it's because there were a bunch of 3-year-olds last year that made it through.
Dude, where's that framey? Is that PA?
The one I sent you with the splits and stuff?
Well, that's super far behind.
Yeah. It's 10 minutes up the mountain.
Freaking stud.
Looks like that deer a little bit at the base.
He's a freaking hammer.
He's just way behind on his top.
Weird.
Yeah.
You
First
know who
time
that
I've
is?
seen him.
No.
First time I've seen him. I mean, maybe I can go back last year and find him, but definitely first time this year I saw him. He was running with a 2-year-old. But yeah, and so it's just, I get it. And here's the other part I think that's super hard, and it's just because this is where my position is like there's a time in life dynamic as well, right? Where like I'll pass anything. I mean, unless it's like the deer that tickles my fancy. I would have no problem passing a 6-year-old this year just because I'm like, I just enjoy watching him and growing him and seeing if he makes it through. My kids will kill whatever they want to kill.
Yeah.
And my dad, the leash is off. Like, kill what you want. Like, he wants to kill a better deer, but like that could be a big 3-year-old this year.
Right.
I don't care. So like even on my own properties where like my mindset is like, man, I want every 4-year-old I've got in Ohio. I'm like, that deer's going to be 150s or 160s as a 5 next year. They're all vulnerable this year to at least 3 hunters, if not more, on my own property.
Well, yeah. And I'm with you, dude. It's easy for me to pass deer. You know what I mean? It's not a problem. I don't like, I'm trying to think of a situation. Like I don't think I've ever once regretted passing a deer. It could happen. Like if I went back after and I was like, that was that deer and I just didn't think that it was. That's how that would happen. But it just hasn't happened. And I'm like, every time I pass him, I'm like, you get that level of, I could have had him, you know what I mean? But I chose my management goal instead. It was the better decision.
Yeah. And you had a hell of an experience watching that.
And you're happier long-term with that. However, you know what I mean? Sorry, he is good for 130.
Okay.
If, to put yourself in my shoes, if on your farm there in Ohio, if for the next 7 years, every 4-year-old that you pass dies, you then would be in a situation where
I'm going to start killing 4-year-olds.
You're going to have to start considering like, sell the farm or change your goals.
4-year-olds. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt in my mind. And that is the hardest part about it.
Well, and here's the other thing too, is like, dude, it's not like I'm gonna hunt mature deer,
Sure.
some way, somehow.
Yeah,
I'll find
that's
a
why
way.
that's why we have options, right?
Yeah, that's right. So
Kansas, Illinois. Like we're not going to Illinois
right.
and killing 4-year-olds.
that's right. So can I? Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So now here's a situation where I get to do all the things that I love, invest into this property in Ohio, and maybe we have to settle with 4-year-olds or crappy scoring 5 and 6-year-olds, and I still get to go to Kansas and Illinois and hunt 5+ year-old deer that I feel like we have can get to their potential. Can I live with that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other thing is, and I had this last year, and we had it 2 years ago in Illinois, is like killing a deer on your own dirt is a whole different magical feeling. And we talked about this with you. Would you say the last Fuzzy Wuzzy was the last deer you killed? Or Spaniard? I think it was Fuzzy Wuzzy.
I think it's Fuzzy Wuzzy.
That was 2019, maybe? Or
2021? I don't know. I get the years.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Confused.
But even still, say 3 or 4 years, the amount of time and effort you put on that farm, and that's the last buck you killed. Did we say that deer was 4 too?
And that is a stud. Yeah, that's a 4-year-old.
Yeah. So I mean, a Spaniard was 4.
Yep, I think he's 4-year-old.
Yeah. So I mean, when's the last time?
Crappy scoring 4-year-old.
Yeah, but when's the last time you killed a 5-year-old on their farm?
It's a fair question.
Think about that for a second. I can answer this.
I don't think I ever have. The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Custom Gear.
Man, Jared, we are tree stand fanatics, and I think the one thing that we have learned over all these years is to kill big bucks, we got to be mobile. We've been hunting out of Lone Wolves for many years, the original Lone Wolf, and then obviously with the custom gear stuff, we're using the 0.5 and the 0.75. Yeah. And the one thing that we talked about is like, what if there were no cables? Here we are.
I really just don't know how you can beat it, frankly. But, a lot of that came, too, from a relationship that we've built with the DePustos. We've had both Cody and Andre on the podcast a few times. The passion for hunting, the outlook on the sport and stuff, I think is eye to eye with how we look at it. Everything that has gone into building this brand and to building these tree stands is something that we want to be a part of.
This is the 40th anniversary of these guys creating tree stands that have been critical to how we hunt whitetail deer today. If you look over the past, you'll see Andre's designs being implemented across so many stands over the years. Such a cool thing, but really has changed the way that we all hunt whitetail deer from above now.
Right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, to get 7% off anything on the entire website. Be the Lone Wolf.
We were going back on the, when's the last time you killed a 5-year-old on that property? I know.
Oh, well, and my response is, I don't think I ever have.
Yeah.
Don't think I ever have.
Because...
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Dad killed Lebrowski, which was 7. Killed that giant 8, which was 5. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember before that. A lot of 3 and 4-year-olds.
He killed that 4-year-old off the Hinton a couple of years before.
Killed that one with a gun.
4-year-old.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Drop tine. Double drop tine.
2-year-old.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And that one with all the broken tines.
3-year-old.
3-year-old. Yep. Yep. And
all dads.
Brian killed 4-year-old.
Yep. Big, heavy 4-year-old, 150 something.
Yeah. Did Willie kill a big one too?
Willie killed a 4-year-old several years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. 150.
That was one that was working, or that we had on that scrape pull in the field. Is it the same deer I'm thinking of?
When?
The one that Willie killed? It was like it was working a scrape on like one of your scrape posts.
No.
In a field?
No. We had velvet pictures of him coming out in that bean field on the Hinton, and he killed him on the hullback.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and Dale killed a 3-year-old last year, 2 years ago.
Year before last.
Yep. And then I don't know what else he's killed.
He killed another 3-year-old off Rays several years ago.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, even the history of the pursuit of 5-year-olds has not been strong.
No, we've only killed, and frankly, neither of those have been on the. Well, Lebrowski was.
Yep.
Lebrowski was.
Yeah, that big 8 was just not really. He was a fringe.
Wasn't
buck.
on the farm. Yeah, it was on one of Sam's pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I killed. I'm gonna say that was the last one, and that's a 4-year-old. I killed the Spaniard, who I believe was a 4-year-old also.
Mm-hmm.
I killed. Boy, on that property.
You made a run on Jed's stuff.
Yeah, I killed the 4-year-old 170 on Jeds. I killed that other 4-year-old 130 on Jeds.
Mm-hmm.
I killed a 3-year-old 130 the first year that we had the farm.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there's any others in between. There have been quite a few years that I haven't shot any off the farm. You know, Dad usually gets one and passed a lot of them.
Yeah.
Passed a lot of good 3-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I'm saying is just in the history of like, you know, even the goose and all of those back in the day is like, they eventually got killed, just not by you guys.
I will say we have had exponentially more opportunities in recent years.
From the habitat work and stuff?
Just in getting better at hunting the property.
Yep.
Understanding how it lays and how the deer move on it. And
yep. There's
a coming of age on it too. I mean, you know, when we got it 10 years ago, I was 22 years old. You know what I mean? And I just, there was I'm going to say my learning curve on it now. I could probably accomplish in 2 or 3 years what it took me 10 to accomplish just because of what I know now.
Yeah.
In general.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it takes time. Dude, some people never figure their properties out.
Yeah, right.
You know, and you always, it's ever changing too. I mean, there's things that change from year to year to food sources and like neighboring pressure and stuff. So, but yeah, I really felt like in this past year, we really had it dialed in. Almost, it's only been a year or so now, but I feel strongly about if there's a deer we're targeting that I think we can get it killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it makes it tough. I mean, I know this is, you know, I don't know people listen to this where their spectrum is from what they're looking for. Like guys still, you know, trying to kill 3-year-olds on public and, you know, or kill any buck on their own farm. Like, and it's a wide spectrum for sure. And, you know, it ultimately is, it's a tough thing. Cause I mean, there are guys, my grandpap was one where, you know, I forget, last year he hunted was probably in his like mid to late 60s, I would say, late 60s probably. And, you know, his goal was to kill a buck, a legal buck, period. Like, and that's what it had been his entire life. You know, there was no progression of kill a bigger one. Sure, he would have loved to, but also the first legal one came by, he wasn't passing, you know? And so I think there's a lot of people like that, whether it's the justification of meat or what, you know, doesn't matter.
Well, it's not even just a justification. Like, it just is what it is for some people. Like, some people are not interested in pushing the bar with hunting. That's a reality.
But they want to kill a big buck, right?
Sure.
Just not willing to make the sacrifice to do it.
They're just not willing to do what it takes to kill it. And
which in its like lowest form is pass, right? Because they don't have to go out and like plant food plots. They don't have to go out and run cameras and stuff. It's just, I mean, you can't kill a big buck if you shoot the first small one that comes by, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I think at their
that would be that'd be the lowest hanging fruit.
Lowest hanging fruit would be passing a deer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's driven by a wanting to shoot a bigger one. You know, you know, we've both recounted our experience where like you see a bigger one than you just shot, and you're like,
yeah.
Boy, if I had just not shot this one, I might have been able to.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there are plenty of cool. Like I in fact, after talking with Evan and stuff, I ordered a new set of limbs for my my Satori because I'm gonna give that a real whirl, at least in Pennsylvania, and. Yeah, I mean, my goal is still a 4-year-old, I think, but also you put a big 3-year-old in front of me on public land with a recurve in my hand, and like I can't tell you that an arrow might not fly, right? Like just because of all of this, not because I'm like, oh, well, this is such a challenge. It's just the situation of like you're in the mountains on public land and you're in a tree stand and there's this buck there and you're sitting with a recurve. Like that is like I guess what I'm saying is like where do you find the ultimate enjoyment of experience? Like if that together, like a recurve on public with a 3-year-old is equivalent to what you're looking for, do it, pull the trigger, right? If your goal is I only want to kill a 5-year-old plus on the land that I spend all this time managing and putting money into, then do it, pull the trigger on that. Where the challenge is what happens when what you want can't happen. And I think there's probably a lot of us that are, I mean, dude, I spent years prior to probably cell cams, especially hunting a ghost. like where I saw a buck or I knew of a buck in an area that I'm like, I'm holding out for this deer, and that deer may have been dead for all I know. And I spent an entire year just hunting a ghost. Didn't exist. That's dumb, right?
Yep.
Like there's no possible the at the end of the journey there is no enjoyment because it can't happen. It's impossible. Right. He's gone.
It's just constant. It's just long suffering.
Yeah. In the moment though, you feel like you're in the game. You're doing, and that's what's so cool about hunting. Like you're in it. At some point, the realization of like, oh, that deer died before the season, or he did die last season. You just didn't know it, and then it's like, wow, I just wasted an entire season. I'm not saying that you regret passing deer, but you regret the path that you took for the limited time of season we have. And I think that's probably the hardest thing is like, you know, you can't go out there and say, well, I'm going to kill a 6-year-old 170 on my farm this year if there isn't one, and there won't be one this year. Like that's a complete bust at the end of the year for you. It's an impossible goal. So you either need to move and go somewhere else, or you need to reset your expectations.
Well, it's funny. There's so many. This is what's fun about this is because like it's like there's so many nuances to it, and like it's like in one sense, I should have nothing to complain about. Like I am hunting. You know, I have 5 and 6 year old deer to hunt this year. You know what I mean? So it's like, what am I complaining about? But so that's the goal being met basically. But like, you know, I'm not pretending like I'm not also wanting to shoot high scoring older deer. Frankly, that's kind of the point. Like,
yeah, you want to get them.
The reason you want age, it's not age for age alone. I mean, that does have its own appeal, but a big part of it is you want age for expression of genetic potential, of antler potential, and so. You know, that's where those decisions start to come into play. So I mean, I don't know, dude. That's the
and then what's the alternative? Like, let's say those 4 or 5 deer that are 5 and 6 on a property. What if you just are like, I want to kill high scoring deer, so I'm not going to kill those deer? Then they turn into Lebrowski.
I guess, and what I was going to say there too is to build on what you're saying there is like part of the, let me see if I can piece that all together. Part of the goal being met is is having the experience, you know, in whatever that is, you know, shooting a certain deer or something. The other thing is just a genuine appreciation out of like what I want out of that experience is to see this deer at its full potential. So it's like you can kind of have. I'm trying to tie in like what I think we had kind of were on it a little bit earlier, and I can't quite get it there now. But it's like I don't know. It's almost like you can't have them have it all.
No, you can't.
Can't have it all.
That's
I guess
what's so cool about these deer is like they're just not common and they're not frequent. And so when one does make 5 years old and 170 inches, it's like it's a unicorn almost. It's like, there it is. Now, there are people that get it. Like, I mean, we look at Iowa, and I know the Iowa guys roll their eyes every time we say it. There's not a booner around every tree, but they have a lot better age structure. And
but there is, though.
They have a lot of big bucks. Like, you could have, I mean, we just looked at it on that property. Josh probably has 2 bucks over 170 on 160 acres using the farm right now. And those aren't even the ones that he was passing last year.
Yeah, he's like, oh, hey, look at these guys that showed up.
Yeah, so it's like it does exist. Very rare. Iowa's the case. Maybe a Kansas. That's probably it at this point. But yeah, I mean, what makes them so cool? Like, I mean, when I see and I have a couple. When I've got a couple 5-year-olds on camera on public in Pennsylvania, and it's like those deer are so freaking rare. Odds of me killing them low, but like I'm in the game for them. Which is all I really want.
That's all you need is for them to exist. I mean, the rest is on us. You know what I mean? It just, can it exist or can it not?
Yeah, and if people ask, they're like, well, what if you don't have one? I'm like, I'll keep looking, right? At some point, to your statement earlier, I don't know where the settlement comes in. Because at some point there probably is, right? Like, 15 years ago, if I said I'm only going to kill 5-year-olds in Pennsylvania, I don't know if I've ever saw one. Like
Right.
they weren't here. This, now I do. I see them. If you said, hey, you're only going to kill a 160 or better in Kentucky, like I probably don't have 100. I've not had a 160-inch deer on my farm ever.
Just for fun to think back on it here, like I'm trying to remember the first 5-year-old deer that I shot. Was it Illinois? Was it North Dakota? Was it?
It would.
Well, it's not Kansas.
It would have been Illinois, because North Dakota. No, that was the same year, right?
Was it?
Was Illinois? Yeah, it was the 3-buck year, wasn't it? You killed 2 in Illinois and 1 in North Dakota.
So if it was,
it's 2 years ago.
and again, I don't. It's not gonna have teeth for all these deer, but I'm fairly confident on the age. 2 of them I do actually have 3, but so yeah, I went from having never shot a 5-year-old buck. You know what I mean? That was like the goal, and I think at that point I started to realize like, hey, they can get bigger than 4.
Killed 3 of them in 1 year.
I killed 2 5-year-olds and a 6-year-old in that year.
Yeah,
It's a big year.
Yeah, giant year. Yeah, and I mean,
and from there, what was that, 2 years ago? So, and then last year I just shot the 1 deer in Iowa that I think was 7. And so, and in that fairly short period of time there, and I mean, dude, it really does take that long, I think, to prepare you for, or it did me anyways, to be like, I had to miss and wound and not get opportunities that a lot of 3 and 4-year-olds to feel like I was at a place where I could go and, try to match my odds against a 7-year-old buck last year. And like, frankly, now I'm like, okay, familiar with what that situation looks like, and also with what they are at that point.
Yeah.
And I've definitely not seen the pinnacle. I mean, that's
damn close.
That's damn close. I got to believe. I mean, they can score better than that and stuff. But
yeah, but I mean that
from an age standpoint, that's
the pretty damn close.
So then, once you've, whatever, had chocolate cake, you like chocolate, then you're like, okay. And it kind of changes you. So, but then now I think we're like in the aftermath of trying to keep perspective on opportunities. Like maybe you can't have chocolate cake in Ohio. You know what I mean? Maybe you can't have it everywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
so
you definitely, yeah, I think you got a tough time because like, I mean, I look at white whale, which I killed in 2014. So that's 11 years ago now. And that deer was 8.5 when we got the teeth aged.
Wow.
And I mean, that's
awesome.
I went back to Kansas and killed 3.5-year-olds after that,
Yeah.
like no. And it's just, they were situationally based. Like that 3-year-old I killed off the ground over there.
You got a streak in you though.
Yeah.
That's the Flynn genetics.
Yeah. It's just, it's just situation. Like I killed that 3-year-old off the ground, and then I've killed multiple 5-year-olds since then in Kansas, and I killed multiple 5-year-olds in Illinois and now Ohio.
What do you think that is? For sake of like fleshing that out, and that's not, I mean, dude, not to put you down for any deer that you've ever shot, and maybe your goal wasn't that at the time, but like the ones that come to mind, like you said, you got this 3-year-old out here from Kansas.
That was situationally for sure.
Here, let me just throw them all in, and you can say generally, I think it was this. Last year in Iowa, we think that deer was probably 4, correct?
Probably. Yep.
Have there been any others in the last 3 years that we thought were younger?
Ohio, I mean, that North Dakota one that I killed.
Yeah, and I understand that one.
Muley.
We were just unfamiliar. Okay, so there's those 2.
Yeah, those two.
Do you recall, first of all, what your goal was going into those hunts, from an age class or specific deer standpoint, and then also?
Yes. Yep. And I think the Kansas one was purely 2 things. One,
really healthy, by the way, that we can have this discussion.
Yeah. One, I saw the deer, and when I saw it, I misidentified it like immediately because
Iowa.
No, the one in Kansas.
Okay, this one out
here.
Yep. Which was what? He's like a mid-50s 3-year-old?
146.
Okay, mid-40s.
Yep, mid-40s.
Okay.
And I saw him, immediately thought of a 5-year-old that was on that farm that had been in there a lot. And I was on the ground. I had left my tree stand. I was on the ground. He was crushing a scrape, and I I had the buck roar and I was snort wheezing him and end up shooting him at from 40 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
And so like once I saw,
and when you shot him, you thought it was a different deer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Even when I watched him run away, and part of it is my brain just locks that part out. Like once I'm like, oh, that's that deer, I don't even think about it anymore. And so like just situationally calling at him, pawing at the ground, like, it's just, but I had seen that deer and I was like,
how long did you watch him? How long did you, not long.
No, I walked up, saw him hitting the scrape, dropped down. And when I did, he started to walk, and I was already in the calling sequence on him and stuff.
So you were fully committed. You thought it was a different deer, and you never second guessed it until walking up on him.
And looked very similar, like probably frame wise, about the same. Maybe the other deer scored a little bit more.
What was the other deer you thought
it was? Mainframe 10. I forget what we called that deer, but he had been in there in the bottom, just kind of tall and narrow. And this deer,
and we thought he was like 50s, mid 50s,
low to mid 50s.
What did we think that deer was age wise?
5.
We thought he was 5-year-old. Okay.
Yep. And then this deer, he was like a late show up. Like we didn't really even have trail camera pictures of him.
Right.
So when I saw him, I'm like, oh, it must be that deer. Right, because I think I even saw this deer a few days before in the dark.
So call that one like just a misidentification is what led to that deer getting killed.
Yeah.
When did you realize? Like pretty shortly after you walked up on him, or
as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, it's
dead.
not that deer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, that's not that deer.
How about in Iowa? What was the thought process there?
That was like just behavior. So probably.
First of all, what was your goal in Iowa? Were you
5? You
wanted to shoot a 5-year-old?
Yeah, and more out of respect to Seth and his property.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have. 160-inch deer with their bow is 160-inch deer, but out of respect to Seth,
we were under the perception on that property that they wanted to get deer to 5 years old.
Correct.
Generally, yeah. Okay.
Yep. And they had sent us several pictures of like, hey, shoot these deer and don't shoot these deer.
Which, in fairness to you and they weren't good pictures. They were like a lot of these were
tough.
Far off, and like we're like,
it was tough.
Yeah,
it was tough. And so, like that deer again, that deer had just ears back, sidestepping, just bristled up. Like, I mean, and again, looking at the deer, I'm like trying to match it up to those pictures. I don't know. I couldn't do it. Like, so essentially, I wrote him off as like, I don't know who he is.
Did you try to? Were you trying to age him once you figured that you didn't know who he was? Were you
a little bit
trying to?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at him several times, but just because he was bristled up and ears back the whole time, like he looked bigger than he was body wise.
We don't even know that he was small body wise necessarily. We didn't weigh him or anything, but
no. And honestly, I assume he's 4. I haven't got I haven't got the teeth.
We're
back
assuming
either.
There could be freaking 7 years old, but just looking at him, he looks
Yeah, I sent the teeth.
What
off.
is it that does that? It's the pedicle size. It's mass really, and it's head size. It is body size, but once they're on the ground, it's just tough.
Yeah, and I mean during the rut when you talk about necks and stuff, to me it's always like brisket and just they look thick, right? Versus like, a racehorse look for your 3-year-old, or just like kind of just an even block, a rectangle as your 4-year-olds. But yeah, he was just bristled, so it made him look bigger than he was. And honestly, the other deer that he was posturing against, I thought was 4 or 5. So I'm like, assume this deer is clearly seeming like he's more dominant. And again, I think once I saw that reaction, I didn't even look at it. Like there was no more judging. Once I couldn't identify him in my brain, and he was basically his posturing and bristling up and everything, I was like, well, like I assume that this deer is a shooter. Because I think was flipping through the ones like, don't shoot these deer, and like he wasn't ringing a bell on those ones.
Do you feel like a sense of panic when you can't identify them?
No, because at that point it's like I immediately go to, am I content shooting this deer or not? Like, if I shoot this deer and, like, I kill it, like, am I going to be happy with it? And at least in Iowa, it was a yes. I think in...
That's a pretty deep philosophical question in the moment of truth.
Yeah, I think it happens pretty quick.
Am I going to be happy with this deer? Yeah.
I think it happens pretty quick. Like, I knew when I saw that Iowa deer raking the tree that as long as he was on, like, the mental, like, don't shoot this deer list, like, I'm killing that deer.
Okay.
I think
funny in hindsight too, like how good that deer scored and stuff. Like even,
oh yeah,
it took some time for us to come around to him. Like it really scarred us that we were handling that freaking thing.
Yeah, we sat side by side with a 187-inch deer for a long time.
No, and it's fine. I remember walking up on it, and it wasn't
the second biggest buck I've ever killed.
I know. It's a stud. It's a bigger deer than most people will ever shoot.
Yeah.
But they do look different. For me, it's like it's their head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
oh yeah, dude, that deer's like head and skull plate was just like it's a dinosaur.
And the old ones,
same with CJ's.
You can just tell, obviously, yeah. But the young ones, like, or just even 3 and 4, like they just have more like of a rounded look to them, like more of just like an immature.
Yeah, I look at it.
It's not
just,
the color.
I just look at it as like thin. They're like
nothing to do
thin-faced.
with gray or any of that.
Yeah, I don't even look at the Roman nose stuff anymore. They look thin face. Like when you see that deer, like I look at that now even because guys send
definitely
so many summer pictures now, and dude, using the body, it's terrible to age right now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're so hard.
I can't do it.
But if I look at that deer's head, especially close up, like
their head,
really a mature deer, like you look at that deer's face and you're like, that deer's a 5+.
Their foreheads just turn into bricks. Like when they're 3 years old, especially, they have like a doe head. It's rounded.
When you can see the distance between the pedicles, even with mass, is not wide.
Yeah,
like it's just it's thin.
Yeah,
you know, everything is just tight there on the top of the head, and then as they age, that shit just gets wider, and like you said, just looks like a brick on the top.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that those are the ones, like if I was like, it was like an oops, like those were the ones that shot. But situationally, I'm like, yeah, I don't regret either of them.
Yeah, of course not. And so that Iowa one, then you in your mind, you said, first of all, I can't identify it, and
which was the first thing I tried to do. I tried to throw binos up and be like, who is that deer?
Huh?
And
so then you're like, I don't know.
I
don't know who he is. I don't think he's on the don't shoot list. So then you're defaulting. Is it to age first, or is it to am I going to be happy with that deer, or a combination?
Probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, and again, this is Iowa, right? Like I don't see a lot of 3 and 4 year olds posturing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
Like they just don't do that.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He was just like, he was running shit.
Well, when we finally got to him, like his balls were gored off of him. Like that dude, his face was like half ripped open.
He was a fighter.
Yeah. He just had just been fighting everybody. So yeah, he just had an attitude about him, which is why he responded to snort wheezes and stuff
5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. Either that or he's an idiot. One of the two.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that between like looking at him and knowing, I think I thought he was like high 50s when I shot him, and just his behavior, I'm like
dominant. Yeah,
dominant, big deer. And then after that, it was like, I'm gonna shoot this deer, and then it became like this calling back and forth, which like, it was like 30 minutes. I was just in a mental hole somewhere with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was after like, because we didn't score him until we got to Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Because I was like, he's gonna be high 50s or something, and we scored him. It was 165 on the nuts, and I was like, holy shit, that's almost a booner.
I know.
And but it was because I was sitting next to Monstrosity.
I'd like to see him again. You got to bring him back in.
He's with Trav now.
He is already.
Yep.
Really?
I dropped them both off.
When?
The Ohio one and that one. I just gave them everything.
Yeah. I was like, how'd you beat me?
No,
because I'm dropping that off.
Yep.
This weekend.
So yeah, I mean, and there have been. I mean, there was that one I shot in Kansas Public on 20. I think it was 2020.
Yeah, he surprised us.
Yeah, I mean
157.
157, and we knew. I didn't know that deer when I shot him, but we knew that deer later looking at our trail camera pictures from our lease, and that was a 5+ year old deer.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that was one
and
where...
I don't think you probably at that time neither of us were like...
Well, dude, I was hunting Kansas Public. I was like, I don't know.
We're just looking for a deer we're going to be happy with.
Yeah, and generally. I mean, this deer's... And we were filming.
And of a certain age, I don't know that if it was a hard line on what it was.
I just hiked in all the freaking Black Magic gear and stuff, and I was sweating my balls off. I was so pissed off at him because it was like getting light. I was just like... I was already mentally like, what the fuck? This is stupid. And like, I heard something and this deer comes like on the same trail I just walked in on. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I don't think we knew what we were after as much as we knew what we were kind of over, which was, you remember that 3-year-old I passed on the last day there.
Yeah.
I was like, and that wasn't the same year, I don't think. Or was it?
It was the same year.
It was the same year. I knew I wasn't gonna be happy with that deer. I knew what he was. I didn't know who was in there or what, but I knew at that point what a big deer looked like.
I mean, yeah, and there, I like to think that I'm over that part of it, but that would be one, not concern I have about like what's going hunt at Antler Creek or anything, but like there's a lot of the
monster 3-year-old.
The last day bucks get a lot of people, right? In that, like, you've hunted hard for 5 days, 7 days. Like,
did I get you?
Huh?
They get you?
No. I'd like, but I've thought about it plenty of times.
Have you?
When I'm in a stand to that situation, like, I'm trying to think. It was a couple years before that, but we had a 3 or 4-year-old on our lease in Kansas come by me, and I was like, but like, it was probably a deer I had already passed up multiple times in the week.
Interesting.
And so I don't feel that pressure on any of our farms, right? Like, because I'm just, even if I don't kill something that year, I'm like, he made it. Whereas like these one and dones, whether it's Kansas Public or Kansas Lease or whatever it is, there's a bit of like, especially when you've hunted all week hard and like it just hasn't worked out, and then all of a sudden this dumb 3-year-old or 4-year-old just comes stroking in, and you're like, man, I could let the air out of that thing pretty easily.
I think public does give you that mentality because it's not yours. You have no ownership,
no control.
In most cases, it pisses you off, and over enough time, you're like, I just want to shoot something and get out of here. Like,
I'll tell you when it was. It was the year that I stuck wide boy.
Mm-hmm.
I went and started sitting public down behind Bernie's, and I want to say it was the last day or next to the last evening. I heard something coming, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And like this just trashy, like 4-year-old jumps the fence and works like 10 yards in front of me. And I'm like, boy, I could kill this deer right now. And it's a piece of junk. But I was on public. It was just like, in a way, it would have felt weirdly satisfying, because I would have been like, okay, I killed one in Kansas. Like, it's great to come home with something. But at the same time, like, there's no way I would have been happy with that deer, just knowing the situation and stuff, especially because like I came for that deer. That's what I went out there for.
Right.
And it just didn't work out, but
what a giant.
I know, but it's just, but those are the ones that get people. And I know a lot of guys that take that, and I guess I don't blame them. So I don't want that to sound like that's coming off as like, they get their 1 week vacation, they go out of state, they hunt public or whatever. And, come the last day, it's like, a 2 or 3-year-old comes through and they shoot it. And it's because it's tough to spend all that time and come home empty-handed hunting, right? Back our ancestors, you came home empty-handed hunting, you sucked, you failed, right? You weren't meant to come home empty-handed. You were meant to come back with something.
I wonder how rooted that is in our experiences from like 12 years old to like now. Like I got so accustomed to coming home with nothing that it's not hard for me now. Like I expect to come home with nothing because that's what happens 9 times out of 10. But when you get one, it's like, yeah, that's a different feeling. And you're like, whoa, like this is,
yeah, it is. It is weird.
Dude, thinking back on, this just popped into my brain here. I saw on my parents it's just like my mom made some antler display or something. And in it is the first buck that I ever shot. And the smallest buck that I ever shot. And it's a pretty good deer. Yeah. It's funny. Like just thinking about like a starting point from, and, which obviously we picked up from, for me, my uncle and my, you kind of inherit that from the people that influence you to hunt. I think like 90% of guys probably are like, I stacked up a pile of 1.5-year-olds before the first buck I ever shot with my bow and period was a pretty decent 2-year-old. Yeah. No, I mean, dude, I shot a lot of 1-year-olds. Not a lot. I should say a handful of 1-year-olds before I killed my first 2-year-old. I'll have to bring that in sometime and show that to you. It's just interesting to think, like, not that that's like better or worse or anything. It's just, it shows the influence of probably just my uncle of like, I knew pretty early on that like, I don't want to shoot this. I want to add something like this. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's interesting. Cause like I grew up in the deer camp side, which was you shot a legal buck. That's what everybody was out there for. I remember passing the first deer and it was mainly because of antler restrictions. And I was like, what the hell just happened? And I wonder if antler restrictions were in place when I did that. Absolutely. Oh, well then maybe has something to do with it. Probably. I'm sure there was 1.5-year-old 8 points too, probably, but yeah, I mean the first, I think I was 16. I killed a spike when I was 16. I killed
1-year-old 7-point when I think I was 17. Killed an 8-point. It was probably 1 or 2. I was 18. Yeah, I mean, I went on a run there. I did kill a couple 3-year-olds there at some point.
I remember the 3-year-old that I shot in Ohio, the first year we owned that farm. I remember thinking that was the biggest deer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
When it came in, because it was the biggest, I think, deer I'd ever encountered from a tree stand.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever, because as time has gone on, I've encountered more out of the stand and stuff. I've never had that exact like bewilderment. I was like, I was like, truly, I couldn't believe how big it was.
I think trail cameras have nullified that, and social, just because you just see them more. You see pictures more. You see them more.
Yeah. Well, and just all of it. You know what I mean? Just the old, I see.
I remember seeing it spotting. I remember like scanning Phil, I rack, and it's like, whoa, big buck, immediately.
Big buck.
Immediately. And it was probably a 2-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, or seeing the first one. Dude, I had one not far from my parents' house, actually. I was probably, I guess it was in high school. I climbed up. And it was first week of bow season, climbed up in an area. I had no idea what was in there, but I was by apple trees. And I remember like one of the biggest bucks I'd ever seen from the stand. I remember hearing something and turning around, and he was just sitting there crunching an apple. And I mean, in hindsight, I don't know, probably a 3 or 4-year-old, like 130 to 140 deer.
Wow.
And like, I remember him seeing me and spooking and drawing and like putting the pin right on his throat, and I'm like, that's not the right shot.
Yeah. You know what I thought?
In hindsight, I would have killed him. But HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Pure Wildlife Blends.
Man, what a critical component just to everything that we talk about, especially during these off-season months. You know, we're looking at and developing these different farms and trying to improve them from year to year. And whether that's food plots or different switch screenings or bedding areas, they all require a dedicated and thoughtful seed blend.
Yeah, so obviously Pure Wildlife Blends being Jeff and Jen Sturgis, we've built a great relationship with those guys. And really what we're seeing is a true testament to them picking the best varieties for these mixes. In fact, we're leaning on clover a lot more. The perennial plot power that those guys do was one of the best clover plots I've ever seen. From December to March, we had more deer in a single clover plot than I've ever seen. A lot of these sheds coming from that plot or right around it. Again, just a true testament to what these guys are creating at Pure Wildlife Blends.
No doubt. And so if you guys are looking for just a workhorse seed that the deer will really use the way that you want them to use it, you can use promo code HUNTR, HUNTR, for a discount on the Pure Wildlife Blends website. You know what I thought of the other day would be super cool to do is to go back to the property, the very first property I ever hunted, and get in the same tree.
Oh yeah,
and just hunt that. I mean, I know where it is. I don't know if they're hunting it now, or the lady that owns that still writes me a happy birthday letter every year.
Really interesting. Yeah, I've got. Well, we tried. I took Alex and Pat back to like where I grew up with my family, like hunting on. It was like old coal strip mine, and then a sportsman's club bought it, and then the game commission bought it. But like it's been timbered and gas welled, and like I couldn't even recognize it. Like when we were in there, like I was trying to like envision like
there was a scrape right here.
Yeah,
I swear,
dude, I couldn't pinpoint. I even like half the time I'm like, I think this is where we parked. It just it's been 30 years.
Yeah,
it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I want to think I could go right to the tree on ours. I think I could, as long as it's there.
I've got spots behind my grandparents in Penn Trafford. Like I know, I mean, it's the same trees. Hell, there's my 2x4s are probably still rotten in them. And I could tell you exactly where every deer I killed on that property was pretty much.
Yeah.
But like some of those other ones are just they've evolved and they've changed and But yeah, I mean that's part of it, I guess.
I met a man. I can't remember if it was his. It might have been his son. It might have been his son of Mr. Carzia, the guy that was my neighbor.
Yeah.
That was a big influence for me, because we hunted like the same property. You know what I mean? It was like this big. What's the guy's name? Keebler. Joe Keebler was the guy's name, and he owned this. I don't know what it was. A big property.
Yeah.
Couple 100 acres, I think.
Wow.
And At some point, definitely, I went over and got formal verbal permission. It was, I think, is all that was needed back there and stuff. But then, Bill Carzia also hunted it, and so when I was really young, those were the tree stands I'd see them, and it was like Bill hunted over there, and then Dwayne Cherma hunted, like when I got really far over, like on that part of the Dwayne Cherma hunted over there. And so I was like the kid that was like, just like, I'm sure annoying to those, I think, you know what I mean? Like just kids in here messing with my stuff and building forts, and eventually started like getting in, and then I would hang tree stands, and like that's how you learn the etiquette of like they correct you. They're like, hey, I hang a tree stand right here. Like you don't want to be there. Yeah. It would be interesting. Yeah. I guess what I was saying is I met Bill's, I think it was his son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, not long ago at like some event or something or.
Interesting.
And it was cool to make that because Bill died a couple years
I remember
ago,
that.
young, like early 60s, I think.
Wow.
After all that COVID and stuff, but cool to make that connection.
Yeah, it's wild to think back. I was just like saying that. It was funny to like pretty commonly, like on the permission properties I would have, I just run into other guys hunting that I guess also had permission, and it was just like, yeah, hey, where you at? What are you seeing? No. And it's like nowadays, like I see somebody like even on the corner of the property I'm on, I'm like, what is that person doing there? It's just like a weird dynamic in that side.
And there was just like, I don't remember any, I was a kid, granted, but I don't recall any like tension between, like, I don't know if Bill and Dwayne like had an understanding of like, you hunt on that side of the power line, I hunt on this side, or how that kind of worked, but.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, man.
Even Bill let me hunt some of his stands. He's like, hey,
I
have a stand over here
all the time.
He'd let me hunt his stands,
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever killed a deer out of one, but
yeah.
In fact, I can't remember if I ever killed a deer on that property, to be honest.
That's an interesting etiquette, is the stand usage. There's a lot of people on public that are very much like, if there's a stand there, like you don't use it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like,
I'm more of the thought, if there's a stand on public, it's not supposed to be there, so I'm going to hunt it.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll hunt it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I probably have shot some deer out of people's stands, but
probably state specific. But if I left a stand on public as well, like I kind of I would expect it to be fair.
What do you expect? What do you want them to do? Hang a stand in the same tree?
Right.
Like that seems stupid.
Also, who knows? How long has it been there? Like,
yeah. No, I agree.
Unless it's like, oh, somebody clearly hung this lone wolf like last night, then I wouldn't hunt that.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously,
if there's a bag hanging in it, like there's signs. You know,
our bows are still in it.
Yeah.
We just leave them in there.
Yeah.
They're like,
seems like fair game.
Yeah. Should I use all this stuff?
A whole setup here.
It's a whole setup. This guy's awesome.
Imagine glassing that from the distance. You're coming up on your stand. You see somebody like rattling your horns in your stand.
Yeah. I haven't had to run in and kick many people out of areas though, of like in my stand. I mean, there's been a few issues with that, but not a ton.
On public?
Private. No, on public. I mean, if they beat me to the spot, they beat me to the spot.
Yeah, right.
Even if there's a stand there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that's the etiquette that you have to
normally on public,
what
you find out is like you hunt the morning and like you have a whatever hunt, and then at the end you're like, and then like when now the sun's up, you're like, oh yeah, there's two guys over in this. There's like,
yeah,
you're covered up more than you thought.
We have a spot on the mountain. Rieger's like, hey, I'm moving cameras up there. I'm like, okay, go for it, man. Like those are fine, move them. And he's like, I got a great spot. He's showing me where it is. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. Walks like 20 feet. He's like two cameras and a mineral lick. I'm like, well, that one's shot. So, that's just how it goes. He said it's crazy how many bait sites he's found this year.
Wow.
And turned in, like, just astronomical amounts on public.
That's
just
crazy,
piles of corn
man.
out on public.
They got to get that under control. Like, they got to figure out a way to...
There's not enough enforcement for it. Not enough people.
They're going to have to figure out a way to incentivize people to,
Yeah, just...
follow the law.
And it's funny because, like, I would say, I'd like to believe, like, well, people know that's illegal. And I think people are just idiots and they just buy deer corn at Rural King and they're like, yeah, I'm hunting. What do you mean? Or I'm just running a camera. I'm not hunting on it.
I think you're right. I think some people they just don't know.
Wild. Yeah.
Again,
Pretty wild.
I love doing that at the Ohio Texas because it is fully legal. But I like playing on the fact that people know like there's something like not quite right. I'm like, oh, it's a nice year. You shoot that over a corn pile, and they're like, well, yeah. I mean, little bit of corn. They're a little bit out.
I took a lot of pride out of killing my buck.
I'm like, that's cool, man.
Not on corn in Ohio last year. I didn't have a corn pile out.
Oh yeah,
he was just feeding naturally.
It is cool. It's better. It's a more satisfying feeling for sure.
Yeah, I think for some of those mature bucks, it's a better way to kill them too.
Yeah.
The young ones, not so much. 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, but like a 5+, I think they know. They can get killed on it too, but they also know.
Yep, you're right.
Well, cool. Well, we appreciate everyone listening to episode 261, and Nick being in studio for this. Gracing us with his presence.
It's been real.
Happy to be here, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
It's like old times.
It is.
Been back in the studio.
It is. It does feel right.
It does feel right.
We miss you when you're not here.
I know.
Just Jeremy and I.
here.
We're like, we just look over there and stare.
Maybe I should just get a Nick Fathead.
Like a Nick Fathead? Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wouldn't mind it.
You might want to put it on the website. People might want to buy that. I don't know.
That's true.
It's very possible.
Be a first look. People don't even know what I look like.
Yeah, they're just
only when you walk past to go to the bathroom.
They just hear your voice and they're like, "What? Is that Nick?" It sounds like Nick. So, but anyways, we appreciate everyone listening, and we will catch y'all next week.
Later.
Take me